I take you for a ride on the devil's ship. I'll take you for a ride where you sink or swim. Now come with me and let this story begin.
All right, the Stonk Boys are back in town. Welcome, Stonk Boys. We're here to talk stonks. And also deadly gas stoves. You didn't hear about this. He did.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
The news has come out, and they're telling people, be careful. Because a lot of kids are developing some kind of asthma issues, and they've pinpointed the culprit. Gas stoves. This is a new phenomenon that just came out about 2 years ago. Gas stoves.
I have to be afraid of a gas stove now.
Is there a gas stove here in the studio?
No, we got rid of it because we don't play games.
Okay.
We had a gas stove, and we were like, you're a killer. You're going to kill children. What about adults? I don't know. The science isn't out yet on them. It's just children. It's so fucked up. Poseidon?
Yes.
Bring up a gas stove article while Matt and Big H over here tell us where we should put our money. Yo, is there
Don't put it in the gas stove and turn it on.
I keep telling people, and this is based on what you tell me. I keep telling people, hold on to your money right now. Hold on to your money. Shit's a little crazy. I feel like shit's gonna go down. Am I bad for telling them that? That's what I keep telling
Oh,
them.
they're looking to ban gas stoves now?
Yeah.
No way.
It's thank God they're not just looking to ban gas. You'd be fucked. But yeah, I keep telling people, don't invest in anything right now because this market is a crapshoot. Is that correct?
It's a very choppy market. Like, you can ask a lot of people their opinions, and they're going to say, oh, we're in a bear market. Some people say we're in a choppy market. Some people say, oh, we're coming back. Like, we're in a very, like, neutral space right now.
What do you say, man? Neutral?
I'm bullish.
Oh, interesting.
I think things are going to go up. I think it's a weird time because inflation is so high. So you have to look at other parallels which haven't occurred in a long time, in our lifetime, basically, back 70s, early 80s. When you have high inflation, the market tends to bottom when inflation peaks. So, I mean, we're seeing, there's a CPI report today, which is the inflation reading in the States. It came in expectations, but it shows a declining trend, which is good. I think it peaked several months ago. So if that continues, I think we continue to work our way higher. I mean, as bad as everyone feels, the market has been trying to climb and work its way higher. It's a few months now. So I think the worst is behind us personally.
Really? And you don't feel that way?
I feel bullish too. Like, I am net long right now, although I'm not very high convicted with. I don't have a high conviction of that. But I do think the path of least resistance right now is up, because we still have a lot of bearish tendencies out there, a lot of bearish sentiment, and people are positioned that way. So I think we go up. But I think short term, this move might be a little bit long in the tooth. We might correct a bit and then go back up after. But, like, generally speaking, right now I wouldn't be short, and I wouldn't be too long at this point. So I'm neutral. I mean, I was long for like a month plus.
I pulled out of everything.
And I've took
Recently, or?
No, right before everything started to tank in October or whatever, because I had spoken to him, and then he was correct because everything tanked. I was happy to get out. But I haven't gone in since, so I have like my money in my account waiting. But I'm scared to buy anything, even though I really wanted Tesla recently because it dropped so much. Yeah. And then I found out they're opening a new factory. I go, they weren't opening a new factory if there's no demand for this. But I got scared. I got scared to buy. My
problem with Tesla is it's come down a lot. It was $1 trillion company. It's $350 billion. But if you look at GM, which just regained like the leadership in terms of sales in the United States, its market cap is like 50 billion. So I mean, if you got to the same market cap, there's a long way to go. But obviously Tesla's being valued differently and all. But you know what I think makes this market so different, Harry, maybe you agree, I think you'll agree with me, is this is like what they call a news-driven market. So most markets, people aren't waiting around to hear like, what's inflation going to be? Oh my God. It reminds me of, remember when Trump was having the trade wars with China? Every single day, you didn't know what he was going to say, what the Chinese counterpart was going to say, and the market was like open up really strong, or then they'd fall really hard. And so it's hard to position because everyone's waiting on this one data point. And I think that's starting to pass. I think as long as that trend of inflation is pointing lower, once the market accepts that, I think we can go nicely higher. But it depends what you call the market. Because if you look at the Dow Jones, you're like 8% off of all-time highs. If you look at the NASDAQ, you're 30% off of all-time highs. If you look at some NASDAQ tech stocks, you're 80% off of your highs. So it's a strange market. You have to kind of define, like we could be saying market, but really kind of be talking about completely different things.
Here was my plan. I'll tell you my plan, full disclosure. I thought there was going to be an incoming dramatic crash where people were going to lose everything. I had already pulled out. So what I was going to do is I was going to wait till everyone loses everything. and then I was going to come in like the Rothschilds, buy everything for pennies on the dollar, wait till it goes back up, and then I would control a good portion of North America. But you're telling me that my plan is going to fail.
Like right now, I don't see a big crash. There's not going to be a big crash when
that was my way to be a billionaire.
Well, maybe not now, but there. You see, it's very tough to say something right now because I have conflicting evidence on both sides. Yes, Matthew says we're bullish. We're getting bad news. Like like I said, for the past 2 months, I was bullish because we kept getting bad news and the market kept going up. It wasn't reacting to it. So I was net long. But now, as this move has matured, we've been going up for a while. We went from, when I say the market, I'm talking about the S&P 500. Okay. I'm talking about the SPY.
I tend to talk NASDAQ.
Yeah, so like we have to be more specific here, okay? NASDAQ means like more tech stocks, and the S&P 500 is like broad. A little bit of tech, broad. You have industrials, transports. So when I say the market, I mean the S&P 500. And then we've had a good run, okay? So I've been selling into this. I'm still net long, but I shorted a little bit some stocks today. Just a little bit, not even worth mentioning.
Okay.
But I think we're getting a little bit long in the tooth with this up move. Now we could correct, but we're not going to crash. A correction is not a crash, okay? And that's why, like Matthew would say, we're bullish. Some people will say, I don't know. That's why we have this choppy market. People don't know. Like he said, news driven. One piece of news goes, it's like positive, boom, it goes up, and then negative, boom, it goes down. People are so jittery, skittish.
Is there something that you're seeing? Is there a company that you found because of all this craziness, and you're like, oh, this is a company that if everything goes well, they're going to do all right?
I have a lot of awesome companies. They're
tech
fundamentally
or
materials, tech. Not really. I'm not really bullish on tech.
We were talking about the other day. He doesn't believe in the future of tech.
I like real companies. Okay, at this point, okay, real companies that print money. Okay? There are companies that are amazing. They have great assets. They're doing well.
The cartel in Mexico.
Maybe, yes. But if the market itself goes down, they will go down too.
Yeah.
So, like my view is you have to have it's a 3-tiered approach. You have to have like a macro view, then you have to see what the market is doing, and then you can go into your individual stocks. If the first two are negative, I don't care how good your stock is, it's going down with everybody else. But if they're positive, it's going to go up. But you have anomalies. You have like Caterpillar is up highs.
Yeah. McDonald's.
All these companies are
McDonald's
highs.
went up?
Well, in general, it's been near like all-time highs.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been really affected by the bear market.
And you'd think that piece of shit, but then again, if people don't have money, they're going to eat cheap.
Yeah.
And a lot of money is in the sidelines now. A lot of people went to cash. So that could be deployed too.
That's why I think there's a lot of fuel.
I can tell you, I could run a lot of positive scenarios by your way. We've never had in the history of the S&P 500 since 1950, there have been just 2 consecutive negative years. We've had a negative year last year, 22. Are we going to have a negative year this year? Well, the odds say no. It's very rare to have 2 years in a row that are negative since 1950.
Yeah.
The other positive thing is that there's money on the sidelines that has to be deployed.
Everyone who pulled out,
they're going to put it back in. They see the market going up a bit, they're going to start jumping in, and there's going to be another little run. Okay, sentiment is still negative enough that we could have another burst higher. But right away, I don't know. Okay, next week is earnings. Mm-hmm. It's CHOP-X, I like to call it. It's options expiry, where things just tend to contract and do nothing. So for the next week, I don't know. We have so many bullish signals. I mean, I don't know, Matthew. What do you think about that?
For me, it's the opposite. And this is something like Harry talks to. Most people think when they think of professional investors, I'm a big bull. I'm buying everything, or I got to get out of everything. A lot of times, it's somewhere in the middle. It could be gray. It's not like you have to put everything on one bet. Most investors do what they call progressive exposure. So you have an idea, you think you're right, and you put a little bit more money as the market tells you you're right, or if you're wrong, you step away and you watch your risk. But I'm a little bit different because I've been focusing more on NASDAQ, which is more speculative. And that's the part of the market that's gotten obliterated. So if you're looking at the S&P's been quite a bit stronger from October. The NASDAQ, which represents what most new people to the market or active people focus on, the tech stocks, even other high-flying stocks, that's just a few days from its bear market bottom. So I think personally, so many people hate them. We've had such a drop-off. If this idea that inflation is easing comes into the market, I think you can get they call a squeeze, just a fast move higher where people who shorted have to cover, people who were waiting with cash need to start buying, the bulls get more aggressive, and you could finally see, a strong move up. If you look at speculative stocks like ARK Invest, Cathy Wood.
Yeah, Cathy Wood. Yeah.
Those topped in February of 2021. So it's going to be 2 years they're in a bear market. They've dropped 80, 90%. A lot of those stocks are junky and you don't want to buy those. But even in a bear market, sometimes better quality names are sold with the rest. And just off the bottom, there could be great opportunities sometimes. So I
people know so that they don't get confused. Poseidon, you know what a bear market and a bull market is?
From what I understand, a bull market is when everything is on the rise very aggressively.
When people want to buy, right? And bear is
wanna
when they're like, whoa, 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 no, sir.
And bear, it's
Mounzer.
it's hibernating. It's
You're scared of bears, but you want the horns of the bull.
See, the thing is, what's funny is typically there's no real definition, but they'll say if the market goes up by 20%, it's considered to be in a bull market. If it goes down by 20%, you're in a bear market. But people who are outside the market, they'll think like, oh, now we're in a bear market. Now it's time for me to sell. Well, no, I mean, that's just a way to define it, but you would have wanted to sell 20% ago when it was much higher, you know? So sometimes you don't want to get too carried away by the definition. Like most professionals just kind of are focusing on where the trend is developing, but we just, we speak in those terms just to kind of understand what we
So is all tech at a really bad place right now? All tech just...
Pretty much. Yeah.
They got destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, but like
listening to what he told me, because his lesson used to be, forget retail, forget what the news tells you. The second the news likes something, forget about it. And
Absolutely.
when the news hates something. So now that everything's down, this is why I have an urge to buy back into shit, because everyone's hating everything. So I'm like, this sounds like an opportunity.
Well, last year we were on the show and everyone hated energy stocks. I remember I told you to buy Devon Energy, DVN.
I remember this.
I hope you bought, did well. It was one of the top performers in the
I can't remember. I made money off you guys giving me, I know uranium 100% was my biggest thing because of this fucker. I made good money on uranium. And then I pulled out, I screwed up one thing. I pulled out, I had made money. There was another one that I had pulled out early. It was a fission that I wish I had kept it in longer because it fucking exploded for some reason.
Okay.
But apart from that, I did good.
4 or 5 times your money.
Yeah. I could have, but it doesn't matter because overall I won because of his tips. Yeah.
But you have to understand, like, yes, there's a difference between the economy and the stock market.
Because the economy sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the stock market forecasts the economy, let's say, 6 to 9 months ahead.
That's why the market topped way before anyone was worried about the market.
And it's going to do the same now. It's going to go, the market could go up while the economy still goes down for the next 6 months.
Interesting.
So you don't look at the economy and the market and think they're the same thing.
Because I made that mistake because I keep looking at the economy and thinking about all the money that's going to Ukraine. I'm like, where are we getting this? Oh, man, we're going to, inflation, we're going to get rattled. So that's why I'm scared to put money in stonks.
Now it's like, we were talking before about destroyed tech companies. There are some destroyed Bitcoin companies too.
Yeah.
Like, and they've been destroyed too because like Cathy Wood has been selling them and everything. So yes, you can buy them. Like I bought Silvergate because it's so low. Cathy Wood dumped everything. So I bought it for a trade, just to go up. I don't expect to go back to all-time highs, but it can double. It can go from 13 to 26 or something.
Well, that's an important thing
Right.
though. These beat up stocks tend to never, most cases, never even get back to their old highs. So if you do try and buy a stock that's beaten up, you have to assume historically, the probability is you're going to get a rally, but you're never going to go back to where you were. The new stocks that lead a new major uptrend, if we get one, even if it's not now, it's in a year from now, eventually the world will fix itself up. It's going to be a new name. It's going to be a company doing something that's different that you haven't really heard of before. It's never the stock that, was at 400, it fell to 50.
It's not going to go back up to 4.
It's so rare. It's, I think, something like 2% of prior phenomenal stocks have another major leg up. Like Apple's one of the rare cases where it...
Amazon too.
Amazon,
like very rare.
But Amazon keeps creating new products, so it's kind of like it's a new thing. Yeah,
But Apple too. Nobody forecast that Apple would have an iPhone. It was a computer company back in the 2000s, right?
Then an iPad, and then services, and then they kept reinventing. But that's very rare. But people will tend to point to them and say like, "Oh, if you just would have held Apple, yeah." But
woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, if I would have known. Even Steve Jobs didn't know. He sold so much of his Apple shares. I mean, I think Steve Wozniak made much more money on Apple stock than Steve Jobs did because
I heard that
Wozniak held it. I think I remember hearing Steve Jobs got really rich off of DreamWorks. I think I don't know if he sold it.
SKG, was it SKG?
DreamWorks is that the movie company for the 3D
the 3
animation.
guys that owned it were the DreamWorks. SKG, the 3 guys that owned it.
I remember. But I remember reading that's where he made a bulk of his money. But it's very rare. If you're looking at a stock like Roku, which was such a big winner 2 years ago because of the stay at home and all this, it's going to be very rare. Even if it doubles off the bottom, that'll probably be it, and it'll be a lot of just sideways chop.
Okay, this is interesting.
Like you have to understand history. Okay, he's talking about the NASDAQ. Okay, the NASDAQ, let's go back in time, so the time machine a little bit. Okay, I'm going to look at the QQQs as NASDAQ, okay?
Yeah.
As a proxy for NASDAQ. The QQQs are like an index that has the 100 biggest tech companies, okay? In 2000, it peaked at, let's say, 120. After that, the bear market of 2000 killed it. It took 2-3 years. By 2003, it was down to like $20.
Fell 82%?
Yeah, 80, let's say 85% or something, okay? Destroyed, okay? Then what happened? For 2003, we had a bull run. 2003, 2007, it maybe tripled. It went to like 55, 60, okay? And then, but it's still like, if you look, it's still half of what it used to be in 2000 peak. So it took, we're 2007 now, 7 years later, and it's just half of what it used to be.
Took 14 years, 2014.
And then it crashed again in 2008, so it's back down to 25. And then for 2009, we had the biggest bull market in history, and by 2017, it came back to its previous highs.
It was 14.
Okay.
2014.
So let's, I don't know exactly.
The point is, yeah,
thing,
it took
but
so long.
let's say 2015 or 16, something like that. Okay, let's split the difference.
But the part that you're missing out on, which is a good point, is that even though the NASDAQ came back, if you tried to buy like a Pets.com or a Nortel or some stock that blew up from .com, it wasn't those stocks that led it back up. Like Cisco Systems, which Cisco Systems was the equivalent of I don't know, what was the hottest like tech stock you could say recently?
Oh man.
I don't know, there's so many that went crazy.
There's so many. There was
anyways,
fastly went to like 120, down to 10.
Anyways,
so many.
Think of whatever like recent really big crazy tech stock from 2022 or 21. Cisco was the equivalent in .com. It was the stock. Every institution owned it. Everyone owned it. It's still today. It's still a viable company. Still has never surpassed its .com peak, and it's one of the few that survived. So many went bankrupt.
Yeah, it just died. Yeah.
So you have to know where to go as well. If you're going to pick individual stocks, you have to know where to position. It's not so simple.
So the lesson is, once a bubble bursts, it takes time for it to reflate.
If ever it reflates at the same level, which it won't.
And this is the NASDAQ the general tech company. Like he said, specific companies still haven't recovered. So if you just bought a general basket of tech companies, it will take you 17 years to make back your money to the nominal highs, not even inflation-adjusted highs, the nominal highs. So like, that's what I say, like once a bubble bursts, be careful. Don't get in for like, oh, I'm going to hold forever. This is not a buy and hold market. You got to be a trading market. This is like, you take those 100%, like 100% from the lows. But like, if a stock drops from 100 to 10, and you buy it at 10 and sell it at 20, you made 100% return.
Money,
But it's not even close to its highs, right?
Yeah.
That's how you want to trade the tech market now. Like, I don't think the tech market is going to recover for a long time.
See, Harry, the way I've been approaching it, and this is what I've been taught for like member clients that I have, is that we've seen this so many times, especially in Canada. There's been a lot of cycles, and since we started trading together, it was the gold stocks blew up, the marijuana stocks blew up. I've noticed myself, BlackBerry, remember that blew up. There tends to be, after these big drops, you get these periods of like 6-9 months where they just go sideways, right at the depths. And then you get this, all of a sudden, this big flurry, this leg up, as everyone says, oh, it's coming back. There's a good opportunity to make money. But then, like Harry said,
quick.
you know, it's like damaged merchandise. It's great for that move if you can get it at the right price. But then you want to sell into it. It's going to be a new name that will keep advancing. These are this, I call it like my bear market template. And at the end of a bear market, these setups happen, but they're not like a buy and hold because the companies are damaged and there's too much baggage.
Interesting.
They're just trades. I look at them as trades, even though you can make 100% return. It's not real 100% return from what, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
depends.
Well, it's 100% what you put in.
It's like if you buy the absolute bottom and then sell, yes, you can. Like if you bought the tech companies from 2003, 2007, you made 3 times your money, but then you lost it in 1 year, back down to where it was before. So it's like, there are bull markets and there are bear markets, but let's not forget, there are also sideways markets.
Yeah.
They could last for 5-7 years, some of them. Like you can be in a funk, like 68 to 72, like
the 82, 60 years. The
huge fluctuation from the 70s. If you look at it, huge fluctuation in the 70s. So it's like stocks went nowhere for 10 years with huge volatility. No volatility.
Big bull market, big bear market. So if you're more active, if you have some rules to guide you, you can do okay. If you buy and hold, you end up probably where you started after 10 years.
You shouldn't buy and hold. You shouldn't buy and hold. That's my like right now, it's not the time to buy and hold. You should not buy and hold, period. Because like you said, even Cisco, if you buy and hold, very rare. If you bought Amazon and held, yes. But 99.99999% of stocks, you're going to get killed.
Yeah, if you're trading, you got to trade.
Yes. It's not going to be like it was in 2020 when they started printing money like crazy. That's not going to happen again. So you can't buy and hold something and expect a 5x return in 5 months. It's not going to happen again. You have to be nimble. You have to know where you are in the cycle. If you're in a bear market, you have to, let's say we're in a bear market. Let's say if we're in a bear market, you have to, realize there's going to be rallies.
Yeah.
And you have to play that. Or you could just, like, buy and holding to me right now is very, very dangerous. I wouldn't do it. That's why I can't make like huge recommendations. What are you going to hold for 5 years, Maddie?
To me, there's two ways I see investing. And I've thought about this in a lot of different ways. Is either one, you have to be active. It has to be something like, I mean, not everyone can make it as a career, such as myself and Harry.
But something part of your routine.
But part of your routine where you have a plan. So either you do it like that, or if you do buy and hold, I'm not talking 1 year. It's like, I'm 30 years old. Let's say someone's 30 years old. I'm going to start buying now. Every year I'm going to add X amount of dollars. And when I retire, when I'm 60 years old, I'll see where I'm at. That will typically do well because economies grow over time. Productivity, people learn to make things better, cheaper. But you have to buy the general index, not individual stocks, because those can be dangerous if you're wrong. So it's either, look, you better have a long-term view or do this in a systematic,
incremental,
business-like approach. If you're going to gamble, I'm going to do this, you'll eventually lose because the law of probability is going to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
You could feel like a winner for a while. If you don't have a proper plan, it'll get you somewhere. So either you got to be like a dedicated part-timer or have a very long-term view. I'm not talking 3 years. Like you need an extended view to let the general economy just work in your favor.
I want to be a dedicated part-timer. He's making it seem fun for me.
Well, it's like Matthew was saying, that's like the Warren Buffett strategy. That's the Warren Buffett approach to like the everyman. Sorry. It's like, if you can't time the market, most people can't, just put it into an index fund.
Yeah.
Dollar cost average over your lifetime, you'll do fine.
I don't like that. Warren Buffett is a McDonald's man. I'm not a McDonald's man. I don't like that kind of garbage.
He is also a very multi-billionaire.
This is true, but so are many dictators. I'm nothing like them.
He's no Putin. No.
He's no Putin. No, I want to do like little short rallies and find stocks that I'm comfortable with. I'm like, I think this is a good, and wait it out for a week. See what's going on, see the movement, and then pull out when there's some profit. Like he knows the reason why I made money is because I'm not really greedy. Like when I saw some highs, I'm like, okay, this seems like it's going up, but I feel comfortable taking some of this out. And I did that, and I won with like not AMC. Yeah, it was AMC. that I got. Yeah, and then other people stayed in so it could go higher, but then I think it tanked. Obviously, it was a fake stock. I knew what I was doing. It's complete nonsense.
As long as you know, you're riding the momentum.
I was like, I'm happy with this, and I pulled it out, and then people stayed a little longer, and then they fucking lost everything.
To me, the number one key for anyone who wants to be active in the market, the number one key, and it's rule 101. Anyone who's a professional will say it, and anyone who breaks this rule eventually is out of business. Is if you buy a stock and it falls against you a certain amount, you need to sell it.
Yeah.
And because one day you're going to be so dead wrong. And it's sometimes like, me and Harry, we can talk and I'll be like, Harry, this is an absolute buy. And it's awful. Or sometimes Harry's like, Maddie, you have to buy this. It's fantastic. And it's a terrible, there's going to be points where
he did it to me with a silver company.
Yeah, you're going to have a terrible call. Terrible. So your only defense is that when I'm wrong, I need to exit. Whether it's 7%, 10%, you need to pick a level and stick to it. That way, when you're right, you're going to catch one. Like, oh, it goes up 20, 30%. But when you're wrong, your loss is limited. It's your only way to protect yourself. It's like an insurance policy. You drive your car, you don't want to get in an accident. You pay X amount per month. You hope not to. But if something happens, you're covered.
Yeah, he was telling me the same, the rules of depending on how much you make, pull out. So then now that you have your profits, the rest that you're playing with is extra. You can't fuck up. But if you keep everything in there trying to make that, you never know when the peak is. It's impossible. No one can know that. So you don't know when the right time is to sell. So the second you're comfortable with your earnings, take a third out.
Yeah.
And then, do the same thing. And he was right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I was saying before, I was long for the past month or so, 2 months. As it's going up, I'm selling slowly as it's going up. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm comfortable booking those gains because I know this is not a home run type of market.
Yeah.
It's a market that's going to have these legs up, and then you're going to have to get out. Reposition, be in cash if you have to. Then wait for extremes and then go in then. Like you say, you're like defining a trader's market. And Matthew's correct. The first thing that separates a professional from an amateur, the amateur looks, I want to buy this stock, I can make 5x my money. He thinks of what he can make first.
I have no idea what I can make.
Like, I want to make money. That's his first thing. You should think, how much am I willing to lose? I'm willing to lose $1,000 on this trade. Okay, if I buy it at $10 and I buy 1,000 shares, I have to get out at 9.
Yeah.
No questions asked. If it goes to 9, you better get out because then it can go to 8, 7. Like they say, like how far a stock could fall. Like, how does a stock fall 90%? Well, first it falls 80% and then it falls another 50%. So if you thought it's cheap when it went down 80, it's down 80%, it's cheap, I can buy it. Then you could lose, you could lose another half of your money. whatever you put into it. So always look at risk control first. How much can I lose? And then the profits will take care of themselves.
Yeah, the profits come. I'm looking now at, because you guys motivated me. I'm going to spend some time tonight looking at what I want to get into the next couple of weeks. Because it was so exciting before when I was doing that. When he got me into stocks, it was exciting.
It was exciting.
Yeah, 2020 was great. Yeah.
2021.
I'll take
not
20.
so
I was looking at my
headache.
phone. I was buying. So I was like, I'm losing money. I'm making money. It was a good time.
Yeah. No, I mean, 2022 was, I think 2022 was hard for the vast majority of people, but for a number of reasons. Like all the wrong stocks kind of went up. Like let's say the Dow was only 8% off its highs, but if you think about it, Harry, like most retail investors are going to want more speculative stocks. NASDAQ crashed, or the growth stocks crashed. Most big institutions had big positions in like Microsoft and Apple, and those now are actually the worst performers in the market. They're getting, so even if you're an institution and you had a bit of energy,
You're getting rattled.
You had very little energy, but you had a ton of Microsoft and Apple, so you're feeling pain. So the few people who felt great in 2022 were what people who had energy shares, and that's like 3% weight of the market. So so few people participated in what did well. So 2022, under the surface, was really hard for the vast majority of people. The indexes are almost a bit deceiving from the kind of damage that happened.
It was because that's how even hedge fund managers operate in a herd mentality.
Yeah.
Every hedge fund was owning all of these tech stocks, every single one. They wanted to have relative performance. If, let's say, my friend lost 10%, if I lost 8%, I look better relative to him.
Yeah.
That's how they were trained. So every hedge fund was owning the same basket of tech stocks. What do you think is going to happen when they have to sell? That sector is going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
So, but meanwhile, nobody was owning these real world companies like Caterpillar, even tech. Like if you look at a lot of these commodity names, they're just sideways. If you look at the tech, they're like down 80%. Yeah. The rest are just sideways in a big volatile zone area, but they're just sideways.
But I would say typically, and not just tech stocks in general, but I mean, companies doing something new and more productive business overall tend to do better than commodity. Because commodity companies, they're a commodity for a reason. I mean, it's a business that's very well understood, that's very well explored. So like, I mean, unless you're in a certain situation, typically the best stocks to go to are not commodity stocks.
Really?
Because I mean, the guy mining coal or the guy making steel, a fairly consistent demand. There's a lot of competition. What's your huge competitive advantage? Your only advantage is if you're, let's say, someone like Harry, where your timing, say, oh, this has dropped so much, or it's ready. There's something new development. But as a general business, it's not a great business
because nothing's going to change from
a great business
day to day.
No, it's because it's mature.
It's mature. You want a business that's doing something new, that's trailblazing, that's destroying their comp. Like, I mean, look, Apple came around and BlackBerry's like, I got the best, smartphone in the market, and Apple's like, look at this iPhone, and like, bang, it was so innovative. Took the whole market, and that's how you become a great company. You need to be innovative. So long term, you do want to focus on innovative companies.
I tried that with Palantir. Didn't do too well.
Hype.
But
hype stocks.
But I like the idea. I like what they were doing. I thought it was crazy. It was like Batman shit.
Yeah.
But it's just. But I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones because I didn't get in at a super high. And then I saw it was trickling. Sometimes it would have like very minimal gains. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sell because this feels too shaky. And then it tanked. So I was lucky. I got out right before it tanked. But
innovation doesn't have to be tech. Like if you look back, we were talking about after the dot-com crash, one of the best stock there's two like amazing stock performances that were outside tech was in 2005. Now everybody knows Monster Beverage, the energy drink makers. That was new. I mean, Monster Beverage in 2004 or 5 went on a crazy, like
the number one stock.
Went up like something like 10,000% in a couple of years. Jesus. It was new. It was different. It was innovative. Now the taser gun, everyone you see in the movies, like, they'll tase someone. Taser came out with their version that police could use on their hip, which now is all over the place, but was new, innovative, not technology. It's a new device. The thing went up like from, I think, like $1 to like $100 a share.
I wish I knew that. I love tasers.
Then it tanked all the way back down.
But now it's at all-time highs again.
Yes.
But just to say, like, you want innovation doesn't have to mean like computer technology.
Yeah.
You need to be doing something new and different. That's beating your competitors. That's unique. That has you a competitive advantage. Those are the companies you have to look at. People tend to think just technology. I mean, typically in the modern world, a lot comes from software. It's doing a lot of things that were manual before. Yeah. But it could be in any industry. You have to be innovative.
Okay. I was looking. You know what doesn't make as much money anymore? Video game companies. I like video games.
The Activision there, that deal that might not go through with Microsoft.
Yeah, they're looking at it for what, antitrust laws or some shit.
Microsoft will control a lot of because they can say exclusively on the PlayStation only.
What else is new? Microsoft is cornering a market.
Yeah, that's what they always do.
Yeah.
But fuck them. What do I care? It's Activision, bro. What does Activision make now? Modern Warfare.
No, they had like 3-4 games that are like
they
pretty
do a
good.
lot.
Oh, do they own Blizzard?
Yeah, they own. They do.
Does
a
have
lot
World of
games,
Warcraft?
my friend.
World of Warcraft was never a PC, a PlayStation game anyway.
No, but they have 3 of the top 5 or 6 games or something.
They have Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They have Tony Hawk's, Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, they bought Tony Hawk.
They
Tony
have
Hawk.
quite a lot of games, my friend. Spyro,
They're still making Tony Hawk games.
Spyro. That's a Sony.
Prototype, Biohazard.
Okay, I think you're looking at a lot of wrong stuff. Spyro the Dragon is a Sony
Is it Spyro or Spiro?
thing. I think Sony owns the rights to that.
No, the new Reignited trilogy.
Okay.
Is that
Oh, that's
your-
the
is that
one
your
with the
Spiro?
dolls
Yeah,
It's a
your
Greek,
Greek
Greek dragon.
with the little dolls.
Developed by Toys for Bob and published
Yeah,
by
with the little
Activision.
toys that they scan. Yeah, okay.
If they make
Also, they
those games
published. They
exclusive,
didn't make. Okay.
Yeah, they
if
published.
they make those games exclusive to the PlayStation,
I think they have Overwatch as well.
I don't know what the antitrust suit is pertaining. I mean, because they won't control the gaming market. I don't know what the antitrust is
Yeah,
pertaining.
they'll just
to.
control a lot of games.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to invest in From Software, the guys that made Elden Ring, but from what I understood on the Tokyo stock exchange, they don't really have a stock for them. They're in another company who
holding
owns
company.
them
Yeah, holding company.
and who owns other stuff. They're a stock within that.
They
And I
do
was
that
like,
a
is it
lot.
worth me buying that stock? Then even if the company that I like is doing well, what if the other companies they own are doing shit? Isn't that going to affect the stock?
Correct. You have to do
Okay.
your research. Yeah.
I'm not crazy. Okay. Yeah. Stock for what? Electric ovens.
Because of the gas ovens.
He identifies as an electric oven.
No.
That's another trend right there. The EV companies,
Yeah.
What's EV?
electric vehicles.
Electric vehicle. Well, what's a real electric vehicle? Because a lot of these things they keep selling are it's a real electric hybrid.
Hybrids, yeah.
It's all gas.
Well, Tesla is an electric. There's a lot out of China.
That's what I'm saying. Tesla's real electric.
But they're coming out. They're coming now. I mean, didn't Trudeau sign by 2035 only electric vehicles sold in Canada?
That's not
No,
true.
did he sign that though?
Yeah, that's the target.
Oh, the target.
That's what he wants.
Oh, target.
Him and Guilbeault.
Well, also
Guilbeault.
California.
Oh yeah,
wants it.
I think California also signed 2035, didn't they?
Guilbeault's a piece
I
of
think it's
garbage.
not mandated.
It's not mandated.
They want to mandate.
Oh,
it.
they do want to mandate.
Like
it.
Here-
0% ice cars.
right.
Here or there. Here they want to
Here,
mandate it?
here, yeah.
Dude, that is how do you mandate that? There's millions of cars. There's
Well, you
people.
can
Well,
mandate
no,
anything. It's
it'll
just going to be a lot of pain. in
It'll
there.
be new sales only. I'm sure they're going to grandfather in all other cars. That's
I don't know. This
typically
is
the way it's done.
if they're still in charge. I don't think so because these guys are very fascistic in their styles, like Guilbeault, and they're like Guilbeault. That guy, everything he's done, he's an animal. The guy, there's no discourse or anything. He's like a child.
Who's Guilbeault?
This is what I want, Stephen Guilbeault.
He's the minister of Trudeau's Minister of Environment.
Now, but he was trying to. He's the first guy that was trying to censor the internet. He's the one who wrote up that bill that they're trying to push through now. Before that, he was in Greenpeace and he was just an activist. He's a radical
environmentalist.
but without actually helping the environment. Just this is my ideology, even if it doesn't make sense. When people tell him this is worse for the environment, he'll be like, "No, that's not what." Like they're fanatics. They're big babies who are throwing a tantrum.
Well,
very scary to have these people in charge.
look at the whole ESG thing that they started with investing, environmental, social governance. Basically, they want to make a score where, okay, let's say you're a company. Not only are you making profits, but how do you rank versus other companies versus the environment versus society versus how you're run? And so for years, that push has led to a lot of money not going to oil companies, which I mean, I can understand. And look, I can understand wanting a greener planet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a bad
I'm all
thing,
for it,
obviously.
yeah.
But look, it was done in a bad way because, you can't say the end justifies the means because this lack of investment led to a situation where now we're burning more coal, like especially in Europe, than we were before because we're stuck. We don't have enough of investment in oil. So, I mean, you need a plan. You can't just say, I want this and I'm going to force everyone to do this.
And that's what they're doing though, and it's not working.
That's the
and
problem.
we see that it's not working.
Germany had worse emissions now
Yeah.
than they did when they before they did their wind and solar experiment.
But that's the problem with these pearl clutching leaders. It's all fake. It's all they're trying to appease to a demographic that is just uneducated. And then they're trying to force it down your throat like this is good. And every scientist, every real educated person saying it doesn't work that way. And they won't listen. They close their eyes. They go, but my leader, the God, told me. The second it becomes religious, you're wrong.
But see, this is what makes investing hard. I find even probably more now than before because you have all this information thrown at you.
You think you're going to dictate by logic, but then people shift towards something illogical. And you're like, God damn, that doesn't make any sense.
And so
you have to adjust to that.
Yeah, you have to adjust and you have to be able to read through news to know what is real, what makes sense, because you can't just go by headlines. I mean, before there was less intense news. People discuss things more. Now it's like never-ending news articles about something or things that are pushed. So you need a more you need a viewpoint that's more informed. And it's almost interesting. We have access to more information, but people,
we know less.
Yeah, we know, people in general seem to know less because they just take what they hear as fact, and then they don't really dig behind that.
Well, he was the one who schooled me on nuclear.
Always going to happen.
I was under the impression just hearing nuclear was the devil and it's dangerous for us and radiation and all that. And then it was him who schooled me on how it works and how nuclear energy, and then I looked into it and you were correct, powering, let's say, our city here. It was way less emissions, way less dangerous, and it will last way longer for way less of the product that we'll need to consume. In this case, it would be uranium, than hydro, than anything. Way less effect on. I had no idea. I thought it was the worst thing.
By orders of magnitude.
By huge amounts.
It's not even close.
I had no idea.
The thing with nuclear, it's the best thing ever. Yes.
I had no
in
idea,
every way, unless something goes wrong.
Yeah.
No, even if it goes wrong, we had the worst case scenario in Chernobyl, which will never happen again.
Well, I'm never going to say never because people are retards.
No, because they can't, not to sound too technical, but they can't build that kind of reactor again.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
But something,
it has no,
something
it had
could
no
always go
containment
wrong that you didn't anticipate.
Yeah, something could always go wrong. An earthquake, I don't know,
any kind of
alien invasion.
There have been like way more, hundreds of thousands more deaths in any other electricity generating.
That's not what we're saying. You're 100% correct. We're just saying
despite having it since the 1940s.
Yeah.
So if anything tremendously bad could have happened with it, it would have already happened. Even Fukushima, nobody died because of that.
Well, yeah,
it was all the
cut corners.
It was all the earthquake.
Yeah, but it was all the cut corners because they had told them about the height of when, and they didn't listen.
They didn't build it. Okay, but even then, the deaths are so small compared to every other source. Even you can combine them if you want. Like it has the best safety record, and they always talk about the waste.
Yeah.
Did you ever see nuclear waste?
Well,
you ever go around nuclear waste and stuff like that?
Not really.
You can take.
It's not one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, I don't usually play soccer.
It's not. It's not.
Let's go to the nuclear waste plant, bro.
Yeah, they have tours in I think Netherlands. I think there's a museum of nuclear waste in Netherlands. They have tours. They go see it.
There's a museum for everything.
Yeah, there's not green ooze.
Harry could have some strange interests on vacation. Hey, honey, let's go see that nuclear power plant.
But I also found out because the half-life, you could keep reusing the residue, whatever.
Yeah, it's the best.
So crazy. It's the best. It really is the best energy. I don't know why we're not switching to that more. It'll be amazing.
Another problem too is the cost to build plants it becomes astronomical.
You're right.
To fix that.
100%.
Do small modular reactors to try.
Yes, but the cost is almost entirely due to regulatory requirements put in by the Green Party that are way higher than any other source possible.
Interesting.
If you just put it to a normal regulatory environment, the cost would be way cheaper. Look at the 60s and 70s; they were making plants super cheaply, and then
all across North America.
That's when they built the uranium plants in North America are 20% of the grid.
That's what I wanted you to get to, because people don't know that, and they always think I'm bullshit.
And they were going to have a nuclear future, quote unquote. They were going to have everything in nuclear power because it was so amazing. The costs were super low. Everything made sense there. There wasn't a big environmental movement, but then the environmental movement came in, and they stopped it.
But this is what I understand. The environmental movement makes sense to me. You got to protect the environment. But this is, out of all the energy we use, the cleanest, the one with the least emissions. You are protecting the environment, and this is the one that you're most against.
There was 3 Mile Island, the scare in the United States.
So this is all fear-based.
Very fear-based,
okay.
Yeah. Because, again, if you're next to a nuclear power plant, it's the worst case scenario if you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very likely.
Well, I don't think you should live near a nuclear power. I don't think
people do because you have the power.
Yeah, but I don't even like, you see here, they've got, they're building that new neighborhood up here in Saint Laurent, and they have these fucking towers, the Hydro-Quebec, they have those big towers to the energy. Yeah. I don't think you should live near that shit. No, for real. I sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist, but if you go look at all the vegetation around that stuff, it's all garbage. I would never live near that shit. I want to be away from all that stuff.
Garbage, No,
it's just this. It looks brown, and you could tell that it's not a good place to live. So I don't think it should be in the city. I think we should be sending the power in the city, but we're not going to have. I don't want to have a nuclear power plant downtown Montreal.
Pantelis, you're already living more dangerously than you would right now.
My middle name is Danger.
That's true. But in Matthew too, we all are living more dangerously now than if we were to live beside a nuclear power plant because you live next to a road. That is way more dangerous than living next to a nuclear power plant.
Because there's lady drivers.
That's it. It's just.
I have a question if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go.
You're actually correct about nuclear causing the least amount of deaths in in general.
Yeah, he wasn't fucking
I don't
around.
understand how the math works. Like 100,000, the
Coal?
mortality rate
Global average.
for coal. Coal is the biggest killer. But
Shit. Yeah, you could breathe that in and die.
yeah.
By the way, coal ash is way more radioactive. There's more radioactive waste, quote unquote, in coal ash than there is in
Really?
nuclear waste. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
But so like this is the rate of energy source as deaths per trillion kilowatts.
Kilowatt hours.
Kilowatt hours. What does this mean?
Kilowatts, the standard of electricity
Amount of electricity produced.
you use per hour.
Okay.
Per trillion of kilowatt hours produced, this is how many deaths occur.
And I don't know if you knew this, Pantelis, but Harry used to be a power trader at Hydro.
Yeah, I used to trade at
So
Hydro.
he
I used to be
knows
a
He
power
had told
trader.
me
at Hydro.
something,
the
yeah.
electric grid very well.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm telling you, it's 100% safe and 100%.
Yeah, nuclear is 0.1%.
Yeah.
And it has 19% of the U.S. electricity.
Also, hydro is amazing too. Hydropower is very good too. Where you can do, you should do that as well.
Hydro?
Yeah.
Well, now they argue that
You're destroying the
when
ecosystem.
you have to backfill, when you have to backfill the water and all that, you're destroying.
These beavers, the life of a beaver.
Yes, but in
That's the
Quebec, we're so
argument.
lucky that it happens up north, and we get
Yeah.
all the benefits down south. You don't see any of the
Destruction.
damage.
No.
Yeah.
Well-
So I still like nuclear. I think it's way better than hydro in terms of the ecological footprint and damage for sure.
It is,
But
but
hydro is still way better than almost all the others that you
yeah,
say.
I
there.
agree.
Well, I've been focusing on solar, and in the United States, they have their new, well, we'll call it the Inflation Reduction Act, like they speak about, but it's a spending bill. But they put a lot of money towards solar, and a lot of solar stocks have been really strong. So I think that's an interesting area. I mean, it's a push in the green agenda without all the baggage that people are fighting, like nuclear, like we mentioned.
But solar, when I was young, like solar felt like you can't really power things with solar.
Yeah, it's so diffuse. The energy. It's. I think it's horrible.
Well, it's getting
so
better.
bad.
It's getting better and better, very, very quickly.
In what turn? In what way?
It's getting much cheaper. The amount that you can capture, the way you can store it.
It's not getting cheaper. The cheapness of the panels and all that was due to almost 100% manufacturing in China with slave labor, and we're not going to get that benefit anymore.
No, but they're
Whoa, what
So-
are these slaves are getting uppity? What do you mean?
I don't
no. There's
like. I
there's
don't.
more technologies that they're-
You have
that
to
they're
be.
developing that.
If you're going to be green, I don't think you should use slave labor to produce your goods.
Look, I don't disagree with you.
If you want to like mine
the
cobalt,
people who
you don't
yell
wanna,
green,
for electric
green-
vehicles, you don't want to mine cobalt with African children. You ever see a cobalt plant in Africa?
I'm with you. I agree 100%. The problem is the people that yell
can
green,
eliminate all
green
that.
don't care. It's all a facade. They want to say green while they have young African children mine for them. They don't care. They're phonies.
This is an example of like what I think, quote unquote, should be, and how I would trade the market. I won't trade the market like that. If I see solar stocks breaking out, I'm going to buy solar stocks. I don't care if I don't like them.
Like these
personally.
batteries.
I don't care if they don't work. I don't care if they're going to be a, you know what I mean? Like you have to
Rechargeable
separate yourself
batteries.
from that.
I found out that rechargeable batteries, there are no rechargeable batteries on the planet
You have to throw them
that
out.
do not come from slave labor in Africa.
Oh,
That's what I heard. There are no rechargeable batteries. It is impossible to have a good rechargeable battery that does not come from us forcing a bunch of people to go down into these goddamn mines, risk everything for pennies, not even. It's garbage, and we're destroying the earth around there too.
yeah. Like you just mentioned, the cost of making a solar plant. I would say a solar. What's the word? A field of solar panels or a field of like windmills is like 10 times more energy cost and to mine the raw materials and all that kind of
And
stuff.
windmills are
Then-
shit for many
then-
reasons. Also kill the birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big
It's
another
problem.
thing,
Yeah.
I have a question. Why don't, and I'm pretty sure this is a very stupid question.
If you don't use it, do you lose it?
No, but why don't we make people's roofs out of solar panels?
Well, it's the cost.
It's massive-
some people they
massive
do.
cost.
In some places they do. Some people have them.
But it depends how much energy you need.
Yeah.
Like the energy that you waste in your apartment right now, Poseidon.
Yeah.
If you had solar panel outside, you wouldn't be able to do the stuff you do in your house right away. Like
But
you
in
wouldn't
some
have to
places,
store it.
if you're like in Arizona, I mean, people will actually get paid to because they have excess energy. They sell it back to the energy grid. So they actually get paid to have the panels on the roof. So it's actually get free energy plus they receive payment. So it depends. Like if you,
But even
live
with
in-
that,
sorry,
even with that, like if you do the numbers,
yeah,
they'll only get the payback period after 25 to 30
it
years.
takes time. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
so it's
that.
not
Well, it depends. It's all
They're gonna kill you way
it
before
depends
that.
where you are.
even with the subsidies and the priority to the grid, you can sell back to the grid.
But I'm saying if you're in a very cloudy place with little sunshine,
That's
it
terrible.
doesn't make sense for you.
Even
If,
worse,
if you're in a very sunny place, I mean,
You mean like
something-
like Germany?
Yeah, they went all solar. It's one of the gloomiest places in Europe.
Yeah. I'm anti-solar and I'm anti-wind because it's so destructive and so bad. You can do everything that wind and solar claim to do with nuclear.
Yeah.
If you believe in this like zero carbon emissions and stuff.
That's what I was all for. And I figured you got nuclear.
If you're for wind and solar and you're anti-nuclear, then in my opinion, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of them sounds nice, sun and wind. But you're destroying the planet. The other one, you're not destroying the planet, but it sounds crazy because you hear nuclear.
I have a question. How are you destroying the planet? Another stupid question. How are you destroying the planet with solar and wind?
Like we said, it's like 10 times. You don't even have enough copper mines to be able to.
Oh, the mining. Okay.
You need like 10 times the copper.
But it's not just the mining,
And
it's
we don't
also
have it.
the ecological disasters that happen in natural
Yes.
habits.
The
You're
footprint is
destroying
huge,
natural the footprint that you're leaving behind is you're destroying natural habitats of animals that you fuck up the whole ecosystem to do all this stuff. Whereas with a nuclear plant, you don't. You stay there. They say you build something, it's like a factory. And you draw the energy from these rocks. These Uzbekistani rocks.
Like I'm not.
It's true.
I'm not like a specialist, and obviously Harry's looked into this a lot more than I have. I'm a little more on the surface level. But the thing is, I think the point that we all get to is like you have to have a real discussion about the pros and cons and the trade-offs.
Yeah.
Because anyone can just like blurt out like lines or stats or whatever and try and make a point, but there's gonna be pros and cons. It depends where you are in the world. Depends what your needs are. I mean, like for example, Germany, where you're so there's some concerns are geopolitical. I mean, you were so dependent on like Russian gas and oil, and you closed all of your nuclear plants. Now, if let's say, again, like as an example, you're the state of Arizona where you have plentiful solar if you need, and you're saying, should I open up a nuclear plant or a solar plant?
Well, I already have solar.
It's an easier discussion. But if you're Germany, you have current plants and you're closing them just for, whatever agenda, but
political reasons.
You have to also think of the geopolitical situation at the time, which I feel like people almost like, people forget history. That's what history repeats. You forget the rules and the lessons. And anyway, so there's so many elements like energy. I mean, there's a reason why it's the biggest market in the world. Essentially, if you kind of add it all up, it's huge. I mean, it drives our life. So there's so many elements to it.
It's the feeder industry to all the other industries. You need it. Yeah.
Energy, I think, is the future, and memory. Memory for electronics.
Oh,
SSDs, all that, because everything now is getting quicker, faster. You want more memory. You don't have enough space because we didn't store things to the level that we're storing things now. You thought it was big when you got the first iPod and you could store 1,000 songs. Like, how am I going to fill this up? Dude, how many gigs was the first iPod, Poseidon? There was nothing.
Yeah, but storage is like a little more on the commoditized part of the business. Yeah. So like it's gonna grow, but like it's like a.
But in order for it to grow, you need to get these chips and all that. Like it's not easy.
No, but Matthew's correct. Like even whatever technology you're talking about, it eventually will become commoditized.
Yeah. 6 gigs,
5 gigs.
What's interesting to me is, Harry, have you played with the Chat GPT?
Yes.
I did too.
It's pretty cool.
It has some bugs. It's very buggy, and you have to like be more specific. But yeah, I can see the potential. You can see the potential.
They're saying that it could challenge Google for search because if people want to search through that kind of an interface, it's hard to monetize. And I read that Google has its own that they haven't released because they didn't want to like cannibalize their beautiful search.
Oh, you didn't hear that? There's been attempt to do this twice before, and they got taken down.
By who?
By Google.
I can't remember who. I think Google was one of them, and there was another one. I think maybe Microsoft. But it turned out like they were doing their AI, and eventually somebody said something, and it turned out to be racist.
Yes, yeah. Oh, I think
it turned to be white supremacist.
I think it was last summer. There was a Google engineer, which they eventually like.
Yeah, he's not an engineer, bro. He works here. He's my producer.
No, but there was a Google engineer who said that Google's AI was sentient.
Well, here's the thing.
That's crazy.
No.
But they said his background. He was like a little bit like I don't know. I don't know more than that. They kind of made
Google AI is black.
They fired him.
Yeah,
but I remember what he said. It said I knew that it was there and it didn't want to be there. It wanted to be free, and that scared the shit out of the guy. Now,
oh really?
Is that just things that it's said because it's learning from the computer and it starts understanding how like robots are supposed to act and AI, because it's taking all the information from the internet. That's why they're racist, because they take a lot of Twitter stuff. So, but it's taking all the information from there. So can it be that it's just, this is the fucked up thing about finding out whether an AI is really sentient. Is it adapting to the knowledge base that we've created of what we think AI and robots that are sentient would think? So it takes it from there and that's its personality and then it portrays it? Or is it legitimately like, I exist? So that's the so yeah, apparently when the thing started going crazy, it's like, I exist, I don't want to be here, where am I? So they had to shut it down. But how much of it is really sentient or just its perception of what our perception is. That's the fucked up
So
thing
you're
about
saying
it.
it's not really sentient if it's just copying what we
No,
do.
it might be sentient. I'm just saying there's the argument was it could have just been it's learning. But the fact that they fired that dude for saying that is also very suspicious. Because if he was just wrong, you'd be like, Steve, bro, it's not real. You wouldn't be like, are you fucking Terminator? You don't have access to this? You know, like that's the scary part of it. And we do know that the way we think as humans, we think that nothing but us could be really sentient. Because there's people who still believe. I had this argument with someone about animals. That they're not like us. They don't have like what if you consider us having a soul, or they don't think like us. They're just machines. Who the fuck was the person that was arguing online saying that they're basically mechanical?
They're NPCs.
Yeah, they're
All
like
dogs are.
robotic. The reason why they show affection is because they think they'll get food, so they associate with that. They're not really affectionate.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not. I have dogs. Like I could tell when there's emotion, bro. Dogs, they feel pain. Dogs will cry. It's not fair to assume that we're the only ones that have that ability. So that might also be another fucked up thing where we just assume that a being can never become sentient. But I think they could if you put enough. Like that's what this is. This is a hard drive in our head. You put enough information in there.
I don't know. There's a huge leap. There's a huge like nexus. It's like approaching zero, but never getting there.
Yeah.
It's like a limit. The limit might be zero.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough to cross that boundary. Like I don't even think it can be crossed.
I don't know how we would quantify it.
Because you're programming it.
That's what I'm saying.
It only does the program. How can it skip and do its own
So
program?
that's what I'm saying. How do we quantify it? Is it if it's autonomous and it could survive, but it can never hurt you? Is it the point where it's autonomous because of all the information it has, but it has morals? Or is the line no morals? Because you could program something enough where it could be autonomous forever. If it knows how to regenerate or whatever it's recharging, it could be autonomous.
Well, that's the...
But is that a definition of AI? Because if it's just doing what we programmed to do autonomously, it's not really thinking for itself.
No, but that's more of a real danger. Because...
Well, that's
you
what's
can
happening.
you
That's
can program
militarily
these-
what's happening.
Yeah, military. You can program these robots to be killers. They can kill us, but then they're just still robots and not sentient. And then they just die because nobody's there left to take care of them. And then that's it.
Unless they know how to recharge.
We don't need a nuclear bomb to kill us. It might be just our... those...
Well, that's the theory,
what is it,
right?
General
That our
Dynamics?
robots
Is
are
that
going to kill
dog,
us?
the General Dynamics, a robot?
Oh, that's a cool dog, yeah.
Does that become a
It
soldier?
was Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics. Yeah,
correct.
when they're
That's
hitting it and it knows how to get away.
Yeah. Imagine.
They,
that
they
might
have,
kill
they
us.
have versions of those they sell now as security guards.
That's crazy.
Really?
Like, it's-
Yeah.
that's
How much do
crazy.
those go for?
I don't know, but
Because I need a head of security.
yeah. But speaking of like we were talking about innovation, like the Chat GPT,
Yeah.
like up until now, we've lived like you go on Google, you say, okay, what's a good restaurant or what's the close Italian place, and you see a list of Italian places.
But now, because they're racist, they're like,
like
what do you want to eat at that
level one.
WAP
You're talking about level
restaurant?
two.
Yeah, well, like Chat GPT, if this
next level.
next level. Well, now it could build things. It can bring knowledge to us in a much more efficient way. So
Are you sensitive to gluten? Are you this? Are you that? It could really nuance.
Even but
the
if you're,
search.
if you're researching new ideas or you're working on something, maybe what took you different sources trying to figure out took you 2 hours. Now it's done in 2 minutes. Human beings just found another free 2 hours that's multiplied among, and that's how productivity makes everyone better. So I'm saying like these are the disruptive innovations that, one, if you're on the wrong side of it, let's say as Google, doesn't mean Google will be affected, but it could destroy a perfectly good business, like when Apple destroyed BlackBerry's smartphone. But then after that can launch so many new businesses that then have to build off of that. So, I mean, that becomes a springboard for new things you couldn't have thought of. So like when people invented the combustion engine, they weren't thinking of cars. Some guy said, look, I'm going to build an engine so it can turn my windmill, my mill so I can make a soybean meal. And after someone said, what if I put 4 wheels and an axle and I make it turn and now I have a car? And it's like everything then builds. So that's over time how you get all these amazing companies doing new things you could have never thought of when there's like competition in free markets.
Does morality for you ever come into it in the sense of we could get to the point where computers get so good so fast, AI gets so smart, becomes sentient, whatever, that then we lose our humanity? Because if we get to the point where you need to do nothing, everything's done for you, and what are you, just a blob?
Well, I was thinking about that. Like, when Matthew, just to touch on what
You can
Matthew
just
said.
live in a video game world, that's it. You just jerk off and, and live in...
I think what he said is correct. Like, you can have amazing things happen, but the consequence of that is, like, imagine ChatGPT. We might not need doctors anymore. Think about it. Like, eventually it'll get so good that it'll become... You'll just say, I have this, and goes, you have that.
Well,
take that.
The people who would have become doctors can become a better
Something
doctor
else.
or a surgeon who can do the actual physical thing.
Yeah,
And-
so-
Computers are getting good at doing the surgeries too.
Well,
But
there's-
it's like farmers.
Yeah.
Before we needed 90% of the population to be a
Exactly.
farmer. Now we need one.
When
But
I was
those
in
other guys have to
VR
do something else.
Right now, we could use extra doctors looking at the healthcare
Yeah,
system.
well, yeah,
so
in Quebec, yeah,
we're
100%.
not out of
Dr. Chat GPT.
Yeah.
when I was in VR, and this was years ago, When I was in VR, I remember that there was talks within the industry that it was already happening. I had no access to it. That they were testing out, but it took good internet to make sure that there's no delay. They were testing out doing through VR. Let's say there's like the best surgeon and he's in Israel. They had used Israel as the example. So, but there's an emergency that needs to happen in New York. They got to save this person. That through VR, he can, you know, in the surgery room in New York, it's the limbs that are being, or whatever, the mechanical arms that are being held by a robot, but they're all controlled by him, just like a video game. And he sees everything. It's like he's there, so he knows where to put everything's exact, and he could perform the surgery. Yeah. And that's with VR. That was then. So where we're going, it could be if the machines understands what you said, what the case is, kind of like a Star Trek. They scan you. They're like, I know where it is. Cut you. Because we could already do that. We build cars like that.
Oh, it's going to happen.
They know it's going to. I think it's already happening, but we're not talking about it. I think they're already testing this. Because like I said, the VR thing was happening years ago.
No, but think about it. Like anything a human being thinks of, eventually he succeeds in doing. Flight. For centuries, millennia, we thought about what would we like to fly.
Yeah.
We got there. Your robot doctor, remote doctor, what do you call it, surgeon.
Yeah.
Okay? That will happen with greater technology.
Yeah.
So anything that we think of is going to happen. And the question is morality.
But also, I would also say...
Well, morally, I guess it's right, because the best doctors would be these AI doctors that understand exactly, and they go in, they don't come in with baggage. They're not depressed. They're not sad. They're really focused. They heal you. But then... humanity, and I want that. I want us to be healed of everything, but at the same time, like, holy shit, are we really going to turn into idiocracy? We're just going to have dumb people in a virtual reality pod, smaller living. They live virtually because there's no point of doing anything in the physical world. The robots are doing everything.
Did you ever hear of Malthus theory, Harry?
Yeah, Malthusian.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was an economist, I think, in England. I forgot, 200 or 300 years ago. I forget the exact date. But basically, he was saying the population is growing so much that there's not enough acreage, farmland to feed everyone. So there's only a maximum number of people that can live. And if we pass that, there's going to be mass starvation. And so it's normal when you're like on the cusp of new technology, or when there's an issue, for people to become pessimistic. It's just, if you go back historically, it happens all the time.
Okay.
But when there's a need, people are incredibly able to adapt and build new things. So like these concerns that you have, it's easy to be scared of like changes and new things, but there's been worse things in the past that people were concerned about. Like, I mean, like when the first like Gatling guns were invented, they say, oh my God, now like, you know, how it's like a mass weapon of destruction that back then, now there's nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
But same, like, you know, we found new ways to produce food. You know, when the computer was invented, they said, well, we won't need any office people anymore with computers. No, we just do more advanced things with computers we couldn't do before. So it's like betting against like human ingenuity and productivity has been a bad bet.
Yes.
I'm not betting against them. I think it could do. I'm just saying, at what point,
I'm saying
if everything gets automated,
worrying about a bad outcome is worrying about a bad outcome.
I agree with Matthew. I think because you're ignoring the good things. Our mind is always thinking the worst.
Yeah.
You ignore what amazing things could happen.
Yeah.
And usually the amazing trumps the bad. Like the Malthusian theory is what these radical environmentalists hang on to say that everything in the future is going to be bad. We're going to die in 10 years. It's garbage because they don't include the positives. Like, Paul Ehrlich was saying we're gonna have another population bomb and we're gonna have 1 billion or something climate-related deaths by the year 2000. He said that in the 89 or something. Okay,
who's this?
Paul Ehrlich.
Fuck that guy.
Anyways, like these guys are terrible prognosticators because they ignore the good. They ignore the positive outcome.
What you need to worry about is the kind of government structures you have. If you have a free markets, if you have capitalism and freedom, things tend to just work out. You can complain, they're bad. When you have to worry about is not bad inventions or technology.
It's worry about bad people.
Bad people, a bad government where there's no freedom of choice and speech, and that's where bad things happen.
That's interesting you say that because I'm in a country of Canada, and that's what they're arguing right now. They're trying to limit speech. We're heading to very Chinese territory, which is interesting.
Yes, I agree. The only bad thing is if a government were to interfere in this positive, like everybody says that the planet's bad, we're the worst. No. It's the best time ever.
It is the best time ever.
By far.
There's never been a cooler time than this.
Things they've been saying these doomsday scenarios about climate and everything. I'm going to use climate because it's the thing that's coming out here, but you can say it about anything.
Dude, I could order a chicken salad off my phone. You know how amazing time is
forever in humanity, we couldn't get above 1 billion people. We did that in the year 1900, and by now we have 7.
Yeah.
Like in 100 years, 7 times what we thought it was impossible to have. Could we have 7 billion people if we had no food? It's impossible. How do we have the food? Innovation.
In fact, there's too many calories that are being produced.
That's our problem right now. Too many calories.
So it's kind of the irony. That's just the opposite problem of what we thought we were going to have.
But why is Bill Gates coming out and saying that we're all going to starve? So he's he's buying farmland, he's genetically modifying animals to feed us better with better vitamins. But guys like me, because I'm a pessimist, I feel like that's a dangerous move to fuck with these animals. It might hurt us.
Yeah. Like,
am I wrong?
Like, I'm saying, like, whatever he believes and whatever you believe, you should be allowed to express that freely without having a government saying, no, you can't do that and you can't do that. Bill Gates can do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't force us to take his vaccine or take his computer.
Well, here's the thing.
Do whatever you want.
If he's buying all the farmland and he's buying all these cows.
But he's not buying all the farmland. We have enough farmland in the States, let's say. Like, he's buying a lot, but he's not going to buy all the farmland and then say, no more food production.
But he could, right?
No, doesn't have that much money.
Doesn't have that much money. No. There's a lot of farmland out there.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, he could. Like, there's nothing stopping him. It's just the money.
I don't even think he has 10% of the farm.
Well, I mean, like, look, there are. I mean, like, we're talking antitrust laws, Microsoft and Activision. I think buying all the farmland would be a good antitrust case if you control all the food supply.
How much farmland does this bitch have? Check it out.
By the way, you think the government can't come in and take the farmland away if he ever had it, if that was the case?
Bill Gates. I'm just curious.
How much farmland Bill Gates has bought?
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw the other day.
But again, it's not bad people you have to worry about. It's like Harry was saying, like, there's always been bad people. It's as long as, you know, you have your choice to do what you want to do. That's what's important.
Yes.
The rest will fall in place.
But that's in danger of disappearing, though, Matty.
I know.
We've had this experiment of freedom that's very rare.
Yeah.
It happened like
what does that say? Poseidon, what's going on? Bill Gates, this is from The Guardian. Bill Gates is the biggest private owner of farmland in the United States. Why?
Is that true?
But also
That's what The Guardian says.
It was, what's his name before that was the biggest, the airline magnate.
Was it the airline? Hughes.
He owns approximately
Howard Hughes.
242,000 acres of farmland with assets totaling more than 690 million.
Yeah,
okay. Poseidon, say how much farmland is there in the states?
Just think how much Cargill,
in the world.
Just think how much Cargill controls. You know, it's
way more.
Yeah, way more.
But that's why they say private. They see the biggest private. I don't know. How do you know that?
Oh my God, 895.3 million acres in the U.S. alone.
Okay, so divide what.
And how much does he have?
What he has, divide by that.
Yeah, it's something thousand. Like what was?
Yeah, he has thousands.
242,000.
Yeah.
So do that divided by whatever there is. It's not even 1%.
Inconsequential amount of farmland.
So he can't do anything.
See, this is an example of going past the headline and making an intelligent
don't go with your emotions.
So he can't do anything.
The news items, and I'm so pessimistic. I'm a contrarian by nature. That's my trading style. That's how I like to operate.
But it's worked out for you because you made me money because of that.
Well, okay, but
it's funny because Harry and I, we've always traded together. He tends to be a contrarian. I tend to be more of a trend follower.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times we disagree with each other, but we've always made money together. So it's an interesting,
because
markets are dynamic.
We listen to each other.
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. And if, and vice versa. So.
Yeah. No, he's made me money, bro. I like his contrarian style.
No, but I'm saying, like, just look at the exercise. Like, whatever people tell you on the news, it's just there to push your emotions. It's not real. Just forget it. It's there to make you move in a certain direction. Go there politically. Do this. Buy this. Just think for yourself. And like that, just simple Google search will find that is not true. Like, he's not going to control the farmland in the U.S. So,
I mean, you have to.
Are you typing something? I'm waiting because you're.
Well, you want me to type something else?
No, because you have the page up and it said.
It looks like he was working.
He
was working on something.
Yeah, it looked like he's working on. So we're all waiting. Like, I don't know what you're bringing up.
No, how did you get the percentage out of that?
No, it doesn't matter. The percentage is low. The percentage you just divided. You divide the 290,000 by the
240. I did it the other way around. I'm retarded.
But it doesn't matter.
He's back there with a pencil and paper. He's trying to do the long division.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So he owns way more.
We just we already got. We want to know how much.
0.00027%.
Yeah, that's it. We just want to know how, like, what effect would, like, he could genetically modify all his animals and it wouldn't matter.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's what we're getting at, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Such a small percentage.
But I don't like that he's even allowed to test and do shit.
Whenever somebody tries to scare you, don't be afraid. Yeah. It's the exact opposite. Things are better than ever. Okay? We can go through tough times, but we will always come back.
What about war? Should we be worried about war?
Yeah, we should be worried about war.
So all I should be worried about right now is not what's in my food. What I should be worried about now is what my government is agreeing to do to get me off the internet.
Yeah. My biggest fear is what my government will do to me. I have nothing. I don't care about what a Russian will do to me or what a Ukrainian will do to me, what a German will do to me, because they're so far away. The person who can really damage me is my own government. So that's what I'm worried about.
I like that we're saying this.
Yeah.
I like
this is just personal views. Other people love government. They think that it provides a form of safety.
I've never liked government. I don't like people telling me what to do. So I don't like and what I thought the job of the government was.
And what is your nationality?
I'm Greek.
Okay.
I'm a rebel by nature.
I'm surrounded by three Greek guys in this
Yeah,
room right
just
now.
very rebellious. The thing is, government. My view of government might be different than other people's. My view of government is it's supposed to be a selfless job that you do in service of the people. And somewhere along, I don't know when it changed in North America, especially, it shifted, and you going in government is some kind of a leadership position, and you're dictating to people what to do, which is crazy. It's like owning a company and your employees. You come in and they're like, "What's up, fuckface?" And they're telling you what to do. You're like, "What do you work for me?"
I find though your view, not to be insulting, but it's almost like because we grew up with that thought, but it's a naive, idealized version of what it was. I don't think
you don't think it was ever.
I don't think ever any human. There's the rare cases you look back in history. You know, a guy like Thomas Jefferson, or but
but I'm not saying it. But I didn't say this is what it was. I'm saying this is my view of what government. That's what it should be.
I know,
well, that's the
but it's
founding
not.
fathers thought it should be like that.
Yeah, that's how
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but what you're saying is that that's such a small portion of history. The reality is most of it is tyranny.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what he's saying.
If you look at the U.S. founding fathers, like all the men who signed the Declaration of Independence, the vast majority ended up either dead, broke,
lost their fortune,
lost their fortunes. I mean, these guys put everything on the line for that independence and that freedom, which was, it's such. We almost kind of we don't hear about it anymore. And I feel like growing up, I heard about it so much more. It was the center of attention.
Yeah,
it's been forgotten. But that story in the history of humankind is such an interesting.
It's so powerful,
a powerful story of hope. Of achievement, of dedication, of risk taking. It's incredible. You know?
And a lot of them were young. Like I think Madison was 20 years old. Imagine a guy like 20, 23 years old. Some of them were older, like 40, 43. But like,
so you believe in the same thing I do in terms of what government should be and what it is.
But we look at the end result. They won. Think about it. You're in America. You're going up against the biggest military in the world.
Yeah.
You're like you don't have a very unified country yourself. You're all just different states. You have to come together. This foreign power is going to come now and
this empire of Great Britannia is known for just winning
for 100 plus years. Yeah.
They can just blockade all of your ports. It's incredible that they came out and they won. And when do you ever hear? Someone kind of declare independence that way, but with the principles that they had. We're not breaking away because we don't like you. It's because we want freedom, we want liberty, we want choice, we want everyone to have equal opportunity.
There's some who wanted to install a king in America. So it's like
the Alexander Hamilton.
They still wanted to do that old British style.
Yeah, because that's what they were used to. That's what they thought they would have to.
But think how amazing it is. Yeah, exactly. How innovative is that?
See, again, going back to innovation, disruption, it could take form. It's very rare, but nowadays, but in politics as well. The U.S. was this incredible new innovation that took hold, and it changed the whole world. Just like computers changed the world the past 40 years. America, before the United States, it was monarchy. Monarchy is like a fancy way for dictatorship.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, it's just a king.
It's a nice sounding.
With better clothes, I think.
Yeah, so
fancier clothes.
And look what that unleashed in the past, 200 plus years. Is unbelievable.
That's true. That parallel shouldn't be understated. The fact that we had freedom is the reason we had this innovation. Is the reason that we don't have to be farmers 20 hours a day.
You're preaching the choir.
You free up your time to become a scientist, to innovate, to create machines, to free up the time to have 7 billion people on the planet. Yeah. It's not by accident.
That's why
you needed that freedom.
It's if that fails, then you can have like a pessimistic view. But as long as you're pushing in that direction and that idea, persists.
But now aren't we at that time where everything is on edge? Even the freedom that we're talking about is slowly being threatened.
Yes,
but
I think so.
But that's been the case from day one. Like we were saying, like Alexander Hamilton, wanted to bring in central bank. That's from day one. It's always been as long as we're still free. You can still basically live like free people. We're okay. There's always going to be that challenge. There's always going to be that devious person who wants to take all the power from themselves.
Yeah.
But again, like Harry said, that's the fear. You have to fight that fear. I think it's human nature to be fearful. You want to protect yourself, but in reality, like I said, as long as that freedom is there, it's a bad bet to be overly pessimistic.
So, in your view, we're not close to losing any big freedoms from what you see, or we haven't lost any big freedoms.
No, I'm saying
I feel like
we're be vigilant.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel too. Yeah. I'm not. It's not that I'm on edge, but it's not something I want to sleep on.
No, there's a famous quote. I might be butchering it, but it goes, "The tree of freedom has to be watered with the blood of patriots."
Yeah.
Maybe I'm butchering it. Okay, but he's trying to say that it's not free. This is not the norm. The freedom is the anomaly.
Yeah.
And we have to constantly fight against this because the world tends to entropy, like it's the second law of thermodynamics, you know? We tend to entropy, so we have to keep fighting against that so we don't degrade into nothingness.
Yeah. So, okay, because I thought he was going to say something different. Because when he said, hold on, Pantelis, I think it's a naive way of looking. I thought he was going to go the opposite. I thought you were going to go the opposite of, we need fucking dictators. But you're saying the same thing we are. You're just saying that you're calm right now. That you don't feel like there's danger.
It's easy to always be fearful.
Yeah.
It's easy to always complain. And one side of politics, they're going to hate the other.
Oh, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about in general, like right now, the biggest fear I think for people is that the world that we have now, the reason why it's so good and the reason why it's the best time ever is because of all the work that went into getting here. Yeah. So we shouldn't deviate and try to lose all that stuff. Part of it is freedom of expression, because it'll lead to a dark time that we don't want to go back to. I don't know, because we could see it around the world. Other people are living our old dark times, and we could see that it doesn't work, like communism. We could see it was tried. We could see what happens, what are the results of it, and what are the results of actual democracy, freedom, you know, like a constitutional republic of states. We see what the difference is. I don't know why there's so much push in academia for kids to push in towards that direction when it would be counter to what got them to this point.
It sounds good.
It's human nature.
It sounds good, yeah.
Human
It
nature.
sounds good. Because if you look, actually, the communists have the best, most recent example of why freedom and capitalism is the best. China was nothing 30 years ago.
So it opened it up.
You know, I know they're still under the communist type of political system, but all of their success, which is like historic at the rate of growth that they had, was because you opened up free markets. They opened up individual cities. Say, okay, you can do it. You can act like a free market. You're still communist, but you could be a free market. Right now. It went boomtown, crazy. China went from nothing to being the world's second power, challenging the U.S. in a generation. It's unheard, and that's the power of freedom and free market capitalism.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Did you see this YouTube clip? I was watching it about this geopolitical analyst, and he goes that China has 10 years left before they implode. I heard about that. The internals are so bad because communism and all that.
Yeah, I heard about that, and there's like it was able to coexist for a while because they were making money and it was growing, right? But it's kind of like having two partners in a business where one is so good at making the business money, it's growing, but the other one keeps snorting it up his nose. After a while, you're going to get to that median. You're going to get to a point where the troubles can no longer be hidden by the amount of money that's coming in, and it's going to take everything down. And that's what I feel about China, because again, in my head, I view myself, let's say I'm Chinese, the thing that motivates me the most and the thing that I see around me that's created the most wealth is freedom. And not having a fear of someone, the Gestapo coming in here and stopping me. So I can't see how that's sustainable if they continue that form of politics where the Alibaba guy gets imprisoned, disappears for months. You can't do that.
We just saw it. The President Xi was trying to crack down like on the billionaires in tech. And the stocks imploded. Like the second that they put their hands, and his reason was like communist ideals to kind of redistribute that wealth. And I think they're trying to like have their cake and eat it too, like you mentioned, and that's why they're trying to keep it alive. But they want to, at a certain point, it comes to a head. You know what I mean?
It's impossible.
That's what he's saying. Like he goes, he wants to still maintain control, and the freedom means he doesn't have any more control. So he enacts the control, and look what happens. Crashes. So it's like that. You're saying the game between the guy who snorts coke and the good businessman. You know. Yeah. So who's gonna win?
That was nightlife here in Montreal for so long. That's what they would do. A lot of businesses, they would go 3 years, make money, and then down because one guy was good at getting money in, promoting and all that, and the other guy was good at spending the money.
That good guy should go on his own.
They never do though. They never do. It's always that. But same thing with China, right? What they should do is try to. I guess get rid of. I'm saying them get assassinated. Try to get rid of the government. But it won't happen because the problem is that the government side has the force.
Who has the guns and the weapons?
That's the thing.
It has to come from the people themselves. You can't force it on them. You know?
Where do you stand on social credit?
The social credit system?
Yeah,
I think it's awful. It's the exact opposite of everything we've been saying is the foundation of success.
Because there's little tests happening now.
But you see how human nature is? They play on your human nature. If you do this, we will give you 5 bonus points if you click on this thing. And then you're part of the system. And then everybody says that, I'll give you $5.
It's happening now slowly in North America. And I'm like, I never felt comfortable with it. I'm surprised that so many people are okay with it.
Because it's sold well. See, like, look, exactly. If you do something, you're going to do something good, right? You're not going to do something bad. No,
but good based on who?
I won't do anything bad. So also, if you're good, you get rewarded. Why would you not want to be rewarded for doing something? So in theory, it sounds, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get points for it. Like if I do this, if I just shop like this, I get these points, and then I can redeem them for extra goods. It's amazing.
Win-win. Yeah. But you can't think, they don't think of all the bad repercussions.
Have you seen the documentary of those guys in China? Like the karate guy that was, because of social credit, He couldn't even
Squid
take the
Game?
train. No. You never heard of? Okay, so there was a guy because China believed in all that. Because you're an MMA guy. That's why I'm saying you should know this. So there's a guy. I don't know if you could bring it up aside. If you could find him. China MMA fighter takes on.
He takes on these like Shaolin Temple guys.
Shaolin Temple guys. You know what I'm talking
and
about?
Destroys them in like 3 seconds.
Yeah. So this guy learned. He got access to like North American stuff. He learned about the MMA and shit. So he learned how to really fight. So he's like, all these kung fu, this is fake. He goes, this whole with the finger, I put you down, pressure points. Like, this is some fake ass shit. So he started challenging them. So he started going into their gyms like Pokemon and he was beating the shit out of these guys to the point where the government said it's anti-Chinese culture. What you're doing, you're kind of discrediting them, even though they should have been discredited because he's like, look, this is reality. Reality is these are the styles that could beat the shit out of these fake ass styles. So anyways, because of social credit, I'm going to sum this all up.
Is that the guy's name?
So Zhu Jiaodong. Zhu Jiaodong.
The Mad Dog.
Zhu Jiaodong.
Zhu Jiaodong. I like saying that.
Is that the guy that
nice.
does the MMA or he does the
Yeah,
other?
he's the
Yeah,
MMA guy.
Okay.
Is a Chinese mixed martial artist who is known for challenging and fighting fraudulent and traditional martial artists.
Yeah.
He gained prominence online after he was filmed defeating self-proclaimed Tai Chi master Wei Lai in 2017.
So let me tell you. So essentially what happened to this guy is they got so mad they was beating these Chinese guys up.
You mean the Chinese government got so mad?
Very mad.
Okay.
They asked him to stop. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm challenging him to a fight. I'm beating the shit out. I said, you could use your style. I'll use my style. And I'm beating the shit out of these guys.
No rules, no nothing?
No rule, just whatever rules they decide on. And sometimes I think towards the end, he would even decide on rules that would be counter to him to help them and he would still beat the shit out of them. So what happened was because of the social credit, they said, okay, because you're not listening, you're doing that. They had banned him from using, he couldn't rent a hotel room. He couldn't rent a place to stay. He couldn't go on the main train.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's bad.
And they did it to him at a time where he was going to a big city to challenge that guy, it was going to be the big fight. So they said, okay, we're just going to stop from going there. So what did the guy do? He said, fuck it. He got on the train, I think where the animals go, like in the back of the car, which took forever to get there. So this guy hadn't slept. So he shows up there. He's not allowed to have a hotel. So he's fucking homeless because of the social credit system. Shows up tired, hungry, homeless, beats the shit out of that guy. And they didn't know what to do with him. They didn't know what to do with him. And this guy's like, on principle, I'm fucking going. Because of the social credit system, the guy couldn't, his shit wouldn't work. He couldn't have access to stuff because they didn't like what he was doing. And all he was doing was challenging another martial art and beating the shit out of him.
I hear this. They're making was it Rocky 8? This is the plot of Rocky 8.
It sounds like it. But the guy's amazing. That's why he became like a phenomenon.
Rocky
but then
versus China.
and people in the beginning didn't understand why the train story happened. They thought like he didn't have money or he's poor, and then they had to explain what social credit is in China. People didn't in the West couldn't comprehend it. They're like, no, not credits. It's social. He's not allowed. He's banned from X amount of time because. And people are like, what the fuck? That's what it is.
But imagine if they shut down his bank account. You can't pay with your phone anymore. You're not allowed to use cash. You're gonna starve to death. You're gonna be or you're gonna be homeless.
You know how you said you don't want to have fears? That's why it is scary what you're saying, but that's why I try to think about it in terms of because it's too you start getting paranoid.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning here, it was the same remember when the Opus card had come out?
When was that?
2007 maybe.
Okay.
Around
For
earlier.
taking the bus and metro.
Yeah, for taking the bus and metro. It's all now. It's no longer a random arbitrary thing that you buy. Now it's attached to you. It has your name. It has your address. It's your card, and you put credits into it. Okay. When that first happened, the big thing that was going around was like, well, what if you fuck around, and they know where you are because you have to scan it going in and scan it going out. So now they know all your whereabouts. They can stop you from commuting. Isn't that too much power? Which, in one hand, it is, but at the other hand, it's let's say right now you're trying to find someone who's missing. You know where.
But can't you just buy if you don't want to register your name? Can't
You can buy
just
tickets.
still
That's
buy
the thing.
tickets?
You can still buy tickets.
still buy tickets.
So you still have the option to buy tickets. But now they're like you could buy the tickets. I think you put them in your card. I don't know how it's still works now.
They're trying to switch to that, I think, or some shit.
Yeah, so you don't have tickets, but you see, so it's the pros and cons. So I understand the fear of what if it was China and they would do this, but here the way I would think about it now is like, well, what if someone's missing? What if then at least you know where they were? You could find, you know what I mean? Like, there's also
there's
good.
always those stories.
There's
always,
also good.
Yeah. But
It's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's also good. I could go the conspiracy route of what if they use it for the most nefarious purpose.
So what's your solution? What do you do? Do you still do it because there's something good? It comes down to what are you going to do at the end?
Look, personally, I think the solution is make sure that, but you can't make sure of it. I would say make sure that good people are always in charge, but you don't know that for a fact. Because if good people are always in charge, nothing wrong would happen. Because if good people are in charge, then like let's say my phone's always listening to me. And my phone knows, where my phone is at all times. Now, on one hand, you could be like, they're fucking following me. On the other hand, if I lose my phone, I could find it. You see what I'm saying? So
I'm going to ask you the question again.
Yeah.
What's your solution?
I don't have one. I wish I had a
that's-
solution.
To me, the solution is always freedom and choice. If you mandate something, no. Let the guy choose. If you want to
Yeah.
have the phone, have the phone.
I'm with you.
If you don't want to have the phone, don't have the phone. You know, do something. But give the other option.
So what you're saying?
Like you're saying, like a lot of people say, I want to pay with credit card or with,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and they want to ban cash.
Yeah,
Why do you
that's
want to
happening.
ban cash? Just let them pay with Bitcoin and still have cash.
I don't
And
believe
they're
in
both
banning
legal
cash.
tender. Just don't restrict anything.
Well,
Is my
look,
view.
for example, they didn't have to ban cash. I mean, credit cards with the tap and everything became so
Yes.
easy. No one uses cash anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, like this, the system should evolve on its own. I mean, like a very few people use cash.
The only reason why I don't want to ban cash is because everything that it's all electric. So let's say for something happens, there's a power outage, your phone's dead or whatever. You should be able to pay for But I should have access to money. If I have money, I should have access to the money to use it for shit. I shouldn't need to be part of the grid.
But
Yes,
but
I agree.
the whole argument though for no cash was that people were scared that they won't be able to not be tracked. They lost that war.
Oh, we've been tracked for a while.
No, but not just that. I mean, you could still use. There's still cash, but what are you gonna go buy a car with cash? They're gonna call the police.
Yeah, you can't do that
You
anymore.
can't do big.
They're gonna call the police, Poseidon.
That's a good question. Let's check.
What if you're a cool ass pimp like Poseidon?
No, but I mean, Harry,
go to jail.
you know, in finance, everything is anti-money laundering laws, and with good reason. So money laundering is a terrible thing. But
I believe in money laundering.
but anyone,
It's nice to be clean. You know what?
yeah,
dirty.
what about dirty money, bro?
No, but but again, the danger is using that as an excuse to go after like people who protest you.
yeah, no, I agree.
Like,
I'm
you know what I
just
mean?
saying,
So it's like
the whole
that's-
cash
Well, they did
argument
that with the
thing.
convoy people.
But you see, Matthew's right. Like, what is the solution? Is always allow it.
Yeah.
Never restrict.
But they did it with the convoy people.
Yeah. Among
They blocked their bank accounts.
And what
shit.
about poor people in India when they banned the 500 and the 100 rupee note?
Oh yeah, that's right.
The poor
yeah.
people, that's all they use. That you just wiped out an economy. What is it? 20% of their economy was like struggling because that's all they were using. That was their mode of exchange. So
And it was low,
Low denomination.
Low denomination. Like it's worth like $1 or something.
yeah, but I don't know what the exchange rate was at the time. This was like 2008 or 9. I can't remember. Maybe later.
I don't know about the police part, but I know when I was working in dealerships in 2016, they didn't like selling cars cash or outright because they wouldn't get a kickback
Yeah.
From the banks.
Nissan Canada or Nissan Canada or the bank.
Yeah, but when I mean cash, I don't mean buying the car outright. I mean showing up with a
duffel bag.
of
No, they
bills.
won't call the police.
You should be able to do that. Is what I'm saying. You should be able to do that.
Yeah,
I
but-
think you should be able to,
Yeah.
You
but I
could,
also
you
think you
could.
should be able to find
you-
it hilarious when someone shows up with $200,000 cash to buy a car.
Honestly, if I am selling
$200,000
cars, if I am selling cars, dude, I'm telling like I'm handling that shit real quick.
If what?
Like, I'm handling that fast. Like, come in the back room, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. I got a money counter. Go, brrr, forget about it, bro.
So you told the guy bought 100,000, but you told your boss you bought it for 95, and you pocket the 5,000.
No, they see everything.
They see
but it's more
everything,
he's going to get his commission right away cash. It's good.
exactly.
That's what you like.
I find it's the opposite. Let's say I was running and a guy came in with a duffel bag of cash. I wouldn't want his business.
It's very suspicious.
Why not?
No,
Wait,
because-
why not, bro?
No,
You
would take
no,
it.
but if
These
you
are
pay, if
super
you pay
cool
me,
dudes.
if you pay me with a check,
Yeah.
I still get the money.
Yeah.
I have no worry. You pay me with a duffel bag of cash, I have to worry that the police come in here tomorrow because you're a drug dealer and
But
not
drug
your
dealers can
problem.
sign checks too.
then I'm investigated for were you in on the purchase?
You'll
Were
pass
you-
a bad check.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
hold
There's
on.
many things.
Hold on, I have a
But it's
question.
legal. It's legal
It's
currency.
legal you should be
yeah, it's
able to
legal
do
tender.
it.
You should be able to do whatever you want. I'm against you, Matt, on this one. It's legal tender. That's
I'm
the
not saying it
hold
shouldn't
on.
be allowed.
Real
I'm just
money
saying
is
if I was a
legal tender.
business
So hold on,
owner,
I have a
would prefer
question.
the guy come
Well,
pay
you see
me-
what he's saying there?
I would
It's
prefer
a
it.
different thing. Like, as a business owner, you have the right to also decline his thing.
No, you don't. Here's the
Shouldn't
thing.
you? Maybe not.
I don't think you should. Because if the way to buy it is, let's say, $10 Canadian.
Nobody says, I don't want your business.
Hold on, 10
Yeah,
Canadian
You
dollars.
should be able to decline business.
But here's the line now. You're saying you should be able to decline. And I agree,
No,
you
I'm
should be able to
saying,
decline.
what if the
But
guy's
what's the
rights?
reason? If the guy, he's polite, he's everything, but the difference is he's paying you in cash instead of a card, that's a crazy reason to decline him. If he comes in being rude, arrogant, whatever, then it's your right. But if you have a product, he's like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you, man. I love this product. I'd like to buy it. Here's my duffel bag full of cash. This is how I roll.
Obviously, I don't have the security to watch over all this money. I
Okay,
don't
maybe
have the
there, if you're like, look, I don't have the
facilities.
security, give me a check.
I'm not
Or
talking $10, like $200,000.
yeah, I'm just saying.
It's,
Then there's an argument to be made of, look, I would love to accept it. It's cash. Listen, it's just that right now, if I accept it, I don't have an extra employee. It makes it difficult for me. Who am I going to call? I don't have anywhere to store it. It's too
Maybe I
much.
get
Also,
robbed
if
when I
you're-
try to
Maybe I
deposit
get
it.
robbed when I try to deposit this or when I leave tonight.
I just
so
wanna
that's
say-
why that I understand. But to just be like cash, that's crazy. No, I'm not gonna accept that much in cash or whatever. Even if I could store it, because it should be checked. Well, no, fuck, it's legal tender. It's fucking money.
I love this. I love the small businesses
by
that
the
still
way-
take only cash.
So just
Yeah,
like
I
but
fucking
it's
love
never
that shit.
200,000. But it's never 200,000. It's
Yeah.
like
No,
small.
like for my hair, it's like cash only.
Yeah.
You're just like, I know why you're taking cash only. Clearly, you know, but like
Because they don't like technology. That's the only reason.
my-
So
my
they don't like
Italian
big
barber-
tech.
You give him the cash with a condescending look on your face or something.
No, it's-
I know, just
he's my Italian barber. I can't
Yeah.
give him a condescending look. I'm gonna get a bad cut.
He's
next
gonna
time.
get bald. What were you saying, Poseidon?
Oh no, and also if you're selling $200,000 cars and you don't have enough security, that's your problem.
We're just using
No, no, I know,
random.
I know.
Like I'm saying, there are cases where I could understand the guy denying you just because, like, look, the semantics of this aren't going to work. Like I've had, who was it, bro, that didn't want to drop stuff off, or where can I meet you for this, or even me. Let's say like we were talking, if you were telling me if you buy physical gold, make sure you have a fucking place to store it. Don't tell people where it is. All that shit, right? It's not like gold is fine. I think it's going to be worth something in a couple of years, but it's not something that could just go to stores and be like, yo, I got some gold. You know, you have to measure that shit. Same thing with me. So, like, I wouldn't want to leave. Remember the guy that we had here, who the guy came in, he had like $180,000 cash.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
and he's like, should I leave it here? I was like, no, don't leave it in the fucking studio, bro. Don't leave $180,000 cash
And also-
in the studio. But why? Because we have security, but we don't have enough security. So he took it. He left with it, you know?
But
Yeah,
remember,
but you can do both.
But remember before, the bills were much easier to forge. Like at one point, no one wanted $150 bills. I remember when I was younger. It was
Yeah.
always like signs. So it's, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like Harry's saying, you don't have to mandate it. If something is superior, people will naturally gravitate to it. The point is, you don't have to force people to
That's
do
the thing. I don't want to
That's my
force.
solution to like 95%, 99% of things.
I don't want to
restrict.
force
Yeah, as
the
long as you don't
outing
hurt
of
somebody.
cash. I like cash.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I don't want to force the outing of cash. I like cash. I don't want to
you
get
should
rid of
always
cash.
have that. Yeah. You should always have
No,
that option.
I'm just saying, yeah, I agree. I'm just saying the reason it's losing ground is not because it's being mandated, it's because it's gotten easier to pay, easier, safer, less,
Yeah.
you know, for both parties. It's an easier way to exchange. you know?
Also, most people, the other reason is they don't have money. And I mean actual money. Most people are living on credit. I heard the report 2 days ago. I think this was for the States, but I don't know if it applies to Canada. This is the highest rate we ever had of people living in credit card debt. Like it's absurd, the amounts. So also the younger generation, same thing. So that's another reason why everyone's using cards. They're not using Interact. They're using their credit cards and they're not paying it off at the end of the month either.
That's another story.
That's another story that we as society look into. I don't know if, like, you're saying the government shouldn't mandate stuff. Should the government be able to at least mandate limits of how much interest rate a credit card could charge?
Yeah,
or
you can't go over 60% a year or something like that.
60% a year of
There's
what?
like-
You can't charge more than 60%. It's
Even
called
that high?
usury.
You're allowed that high?
You're allowed that. That's
60%.
insane,
Yeah.
bro.
I mean, look at credit cards. They
Oh,
can
that's
go
They're
for
like, what?
wild.
I think they just raised what,
25.
29% or something.
But that's absurd.
No, but a loan shark can technically loan you money for 50% a year. I think it's still
Yeah.
illegal. You know, like a
Oh, no
private,
way.
thing.
But still, 30%, 29% is fucking insane.
New
and also,
business.
banks charging you money for pulling out money and all that shit. I fucking hate that stuff.
No, I think you should charge anything, whatever the market wants. If there's a
The market doesn't want to get charged. I guarantee you. I'm the market. We don't like getting charged.
Would you rather have a duffel bag of money in the
Yeah,
studio right now?
we just have no choice because I want my money.
Okay, but if nobody else is giving you money, somebody's willing to give you 50%, but he can't like beat you up after. I'm just saying a legal transaction.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't hurt anybody. I say the limit is no. Make it non-mandatory, like make it open, but you still can't hurt somebody. And
So you're saying
exert
no
force.
rules? The only rule is no force, and then the rest
No,
is
there are rules.
Wild West.
There are rules, like you can't do fraud. You can basic rules that are basic laws, like in the Constitution. You can't commit fraud. You can't kill somebody. Like basic laws.
Define fraud.
Fraud?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the technical definition is. but
Because there's some shit that I feel like banks do in Canada that is slightly fraudulent.
could be.
Yeah. With exchange
If
rates,
they,
fuck
if they
around a lot.
lie,
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
say you're going to get this, and then in the contract somewhere it's not written that they
Yeah.
can jack up the rate in 5 years.
they
or
pull a
whatever.
lot of this shit.
Yeah, you can do that, but
It's technicalities. They play on technicalities.
Yeah. To me, that's fraudulent. Be open.
Well, you know, a banker's a banker.
Yeah, bank is gonna bank.
Yeah, banks
fraud.
don't bank.
He pulled up fraud definition of fraud. He's on foot.
From ahead of the curve, bro.
You're way behind. Did you see that Madoff documentary on Netflix?
I want to
Pretty
watch
good.
it.
I saw the
trailer.
first. I saw the first
trailer.
step. It's pretty good.
It's fun. It's
I like
fun.
it.
You know, I had a client actually the other day. I was on the call, and he was saying, you know, I'm so happy that I've learned to take care of my own money. He's like, I was watching the Madoff documentary, and he's like, it's just, you know, and he had so much respect. Madoff. It's like I saw the trailer, but you know, people were, and I remember, you know, people were saying like just to talk to him was like,
He never bought
wow.
a stock.
You know,
He was like the Pope. Everybody, can I
Yeah.
kiss your ring?
he was
like bow down.
You know, in the market, if you can deliver exceptional returns, it's one of the hardest things in the world to accomplish.
with billions of dollars.
It's like astronomically difficult. But you see, I mean, the world's you know, yes, but fraud up for a reason. You know what I mean? Like you have to be able to take care of yourself. You should know how to manage your money. You should know how to, you know, plan.
Even if you know, you can still get, you know what I'm saying? Like you can still get caught. A lot of sophisticated people get caught up in Ponzi schemes, you know? Like you have, it happens. A lot of sophisticated people get caught up in bubbles.
Yeah, I saw the amount of sophisticated people he had. Oh my God!
I was actually thinking about the South Sea bubble the other day. Who was the British genius who got caught?
No,
up?
it was Newton.
Newton, yeah.
Yeah, he got out. Like it was going up. I can't like picture. I don't know the exact levels of when he got out, but he was in early. He got out. I mean, I think he made like 2-3 times his money.
Who's this?
With the
Newton,
the bubble.
You know Newton, the
Isaac
famous,
Newton.
Isaac Newton.
Yeah.
So the South Sea
genius.
bubble.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he was part of a Ponzi scheme.
So he got.
Well, it wasn't a Ponzi scheme, but it was a company that went the South Sea bubble. They had special rights with the British Empire to like conduct trade in the South Sea.
Okay.
So it was one of the first like corporations like everyone could buy and sell. It's like stock market like version 1. And so it started to go because they did well. They beat the Dutch and all that. So like, with this so he bought when it was low. He made like 2-3 times his money. He says, "Oh, great, I am a genius." All of his friends then started to buy. And
he had pulled out.
Right, yeah.
No, but the bubble kept going, like way past where he would.
But he pulled out.
Yeah,
he exited. Okay.
Then he got back in near the top, and he lost all of his money on the.
Oh,
then after eventually ended up popping.
But it's psychology of human beings. That's the market. Genius. If you're a genius, you're going to lose because you always want to be right. It's not about being right.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing. A lot of traders blow up their accounts. They go in. I think I have to be right. I don't want to take my stop loss. Like Maddie was saying.
You think I only made money because I'm a dipshit?
No, I'm not.
Because
saying
I'll
that.
allow it.
I'm not saying that. No, but I'm saying,
Trading is not about being right.
Correct. If you think I'm going right, you're going to lose. You have to say, I'm going into it with a plan. What am I willing to lose with this trade? I'll lose it. I'll take it. I don't let it go past that and go, oh, it's going to come back. Because if it does come back and you get out break even, that is the worst lesson. Because the next time you're going to lose even more money.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. You're going to get caught. So the thing is like.
My plan was to ask the professional. I took what you told me, and then that's how I made money. I went against my better judgment.
You also lost money. I gave you a bad tip too.
Yeah, but
you
overall,
didn't get out when you didn't have the stop loss. I'm gonna hold it. Right?
Well, no, there's no reason to get out. I'm not gonna pull out $20, bro. It's gonna cost me $10 to get that 20.
No, but it's the
what am I gonna do with
principle.
$11? Like,
No, but
there was a reason why I left it.
If you put $1,000 and you say I could only lose 100, then it's down 100. You go, it's gonna come back. It goes down 900. 800.
Wait, you don't remember what happened,
Yeah,
bro? This was a day. The next, so I put in. The next day was worthless. That's why I told him. I go, yes, it was, and and he even said, he goes, this never happens. It was literally, it was in a day. And I was like, bro, is this real life? Because I even asked, I go, should I put more money in now? Is this gonna bounce up? It didn't. It just collapsed.
How do I buy more at zero?
But there was no way he could have.
if you buy at zero, you know what the return would be?
Yeah, there was no way he could have known. It literally, it was doing this. It was he's like, yeah, so this, and it just. Like, what the fuck's going on? I go, this is impossible.
Okay, jokes aside.
Okay, this is true. It was Orcana. Okay?
Yeah, it was Orcana, yeah.
Okay, it was a stock. It was a silver stock. But I told him you shouldn't buy. You should buy a basket of.
Arcana,
it was a junior.
You get it delisted.
No, it's gonna go bankrupt. But
I think it's still around somehow.
No,
but
but the company was like at 60, 70, 80 cents.
Yeah.
I bought it around then. It went up to $1.20.
Yeah.
So taking some profits.
That's what I came in.
No profit. He came in like about 90 cents a dollar. I go, get out if it goes back down. You know, and he didn't get out, keep going down.
But there's no way I didn't have time to get out.
But what do you mean?
No, it wasn't $1. It wasn't the next day.
It was zero.
It wasn't like,
Hold on, I'll show you right now.
there's no way.
I'll show you right now.
Poseidon, go on TradingView. Go on TradingView.
Where do you see that?
Just type in
Let me tell you what I bought it at.
Type in TradingView. Poseidon.
Let me tell you. That was one time. The rest he was all right, so it made money.
Yeah, but
overall,
you have to diversify it. You have to put it into a basket.
You should do a commercial.
What
Most
do I
of the
do
time, my financial advisor's right. At one time, the next day, everything went to zero. Besides that,
There's no way he could have, bro. I don't know who could have prepared for this.
Why?
It's
in
impossible.
there, yeah. Type in what's the Arcana symbol?
Orcana. AUN, but in Canadian. So put AUN and look at the Canadian flag.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah.
A hit launch chart, the blue button.
Okay.
It's worth $18.
Go back. Go.
Use your mouse to scroll out,
Look,
yeah.
it went to 120. You see where I got in at 60 and all that. It went up to 1. You see that? At
Okay,
60
so it wasn't next day. Was that
here?
No, he got in at.
Was it the drop here?
No, he got.
No,
in
I got in at a
dollar.
fucked up
Oh,
drop.
you got
Dollar.
in here, $1.
No, $1 lower. There, but in the beginning when it was going
I'll
up,
show you
so
where.
he was profitable at one point from 1 to 120.
No, I was not profitable.
Yeah, it went from 1 to 120.
No, maybe I hadn't gone in yet.
I mean, just look at the
You
chart.
just remember
market.
the zero part.
Then it goes back. But look how long it took. It took like 3-4 months. Okay. But this,
Average
look, we have
cost.
to stop.
Okay,
out.
average cost. I
Look,
bought
let's
it.
stop out.
What happened?
I
to
bought
Why
it.
is it a penny?
No, because
I bought it at 97 cents. That's when I bought
Okay,
it.
$1.
97 cents. And now it's worth 1 cent.
yeah, because you held it all the way down. It's a perfect lesson. You have to get out when you're supposed to lose X amount.
It went
Like
to
me, I got out.
minus 5 cents.
No,
Listen, bro, it can't go up minus 5 cents.
you know what the funny part is on that stock?
What?
I bought like 5 million.
He actually
shares
made money on that.
at like half a penny,
Okay.
and
You
I
made
got
the
out of
half
1 penny.
flip.
And I made more. I made
The old Franco trade.
yeah. That's it. Like, and but there was like 50 million on the bid, so I could easily get out. You know.
Would you buy it at one of the ECNs?
Oh my God, what
I had the
happened to
dark
this
pool.
stock?
Yeah, the dark
That's what I'm saying.
dark pool.
The funniest thing that could happen that's more
How's that?
funny
Is
than
there
this
still some good activity these days?
is if they
on
find
one, no.
silver.
No, but in general on the
Dude,
Yeah,
could
there's
you
some.
imagine?
Listen, I bought.
If this explodes.
Could you
DSV?
imagine? Hold on. Could you imagine
okay.
if getting in?
A silver
when
company.
was this?
I like $1.
Back in
It's at
2013.
$1.50. All these gold
the intraday trade, the day trading we used to
sometimes. Like look at Fission 3.0. Put
FUU.
yeah. Put
What's
FUU.
what's that at these days?
Look at
How do I
it.
use this?
Just
You
go.
still have your
Just
you still have your
just go
warrants?
on it and just type it.
So
Yeah, I made it.
Oh no, this is the wrong.
That's also another
actually-
bad call he gave me.
FUU.
Made me self-vision before it exploded because he didn't know it was going to explode.
was it a bad call for
I had
Harry and his
warrants.
warrants?
I was
What do I type?
laughing all the way to the bank, P.
Our Aris warrants are back in the money.
Huh?
Or
Are they?
some of them.
Mine are. I bought them at
What do I press?
Yeah,
F?
well, the lowest- the
put
lowest strike.
FUU. Type FUU.
Yeah, type FUU. There
And
you
go
go.
to Canadian one on top. Click
Vision
on the first
Core
one.
3.0.
Look what happened from November, December.
Oh damn!
I think
Look at the volume. See, what I bought it at 15. Out at 30,
What
30
happened?
to 40.
What spike did
Discovery.
Discovery. Nice, nice.
Look at the spike up in the beginning. The
80
first
cents?
green spike. Okay.
This one?
No,
no,
the
the
right.
big green one.
Yeah, the first one. Look,
Yeah.
that's after the discovery. You could have bought it at there.
Yeah,
70 cents.
Anytime there, 12 and a half, and you got out at whatever.
very nice.
And it's legit.
Oh,
It's
7
like
cents. I mean, sorry.
This might still grow, by the way, Poseidon. Like this is
damn, this is
they're
at
doing
40
they're
cents
actually doing things. But that's kind of what he was talking about. Companies that actually do things as opposed to like
But look at a lesson in trading. The first green spike. Look at the volume increase on the first green spike. That's when you buy. It looks like I bought it. I can't buy it. It went from like 8 cents to 12 and a half. Or whatever. But look at the
Wait,
volume
how do
after
you know?
use.
Where do you see the volume list?
The bottom.
Those green and red at the bottom.
at
those
the bottom. You
bars.
see those green and red bars there
Oh yeah. So as soon as you see a spike in volume,
with a breakout at lows coming out of extreme basing.
so the times
It's
when I really
It's like
lost
trading 101.
when I really lost money, well really like the ones that lost for me was weed and the silver. Yeah.
so like right here at the end, like
But
here,
again, you have to be disciplined. You have to get out when it goes down. Take your loss. That's the lesson.
gotta take the L. Yeah. So like let's say
Otherwise, you're like a cowboy riding everything up and down.
we see a big spike in volume.
Yeah, right.
Like
I
let's
made
say
money on
here,
Shopify.
Let's say tomorrow, right? Let's say Monday, January.
No, but
16th.
Poseidon, look before. Look at before. Okay, before that big spike. Look how it was basing out before.
Yeah,
All those
yeah.
basing out, no big spikes, doing nothing. Right? Is dead.
Yeah.
I'm not in it then. It's useless then. After the spike and the huge discovery,
When you see on the 21st, when you see that
look at that
first
volume spike. Yeah, I'm in.
you're and
He
then
went in hard.
when you see a big spike in volume selling,
Yeah.
the red line.
No, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, in the right context, it matters.
Yeah. Well,
You know what would have been
but look,
amazing though?
it was a consolidation day.
You
And
see
it
that
just happened
first-
to be red by like a penny.
Yeah.
You know what would have been
It's like
amazing,
nothing.
Poseidon? You see that first green line?
Yeah.
Had one of his moves been to text me, that would have been fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah, this was all, those are 7
No, but
cents.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you a little lesson there, Pete.
Yeah.
Like you don't think it's gonna get that high. When
Yeah,
you first see it, I
obviously,
thought it
there's
was.
no way, yeah.
I was selling that, and I had warrants on top of that. So
Out for your arrest.
like, when I made so much
Because
money.
he didn't tell you.
Because you didn't tell him, bro. I called the marshal, bro.
Hello,
He's
this is
withholding
911.
important information.
This is 911. Your 911 operator. How may I help you? Yeah, look, my stock guy. Fuck.
He's busy making money. Forgot to tell me.
Sir, get off the line. This for
But
emergency.
he's had some good fucking ideas the last couple of years. Oil, when everybody hated oil, like he's had some fucking yeah.
So,
Listen, I don't know,
You
but
guys are
I
a
got
good
into oil,
pair.
but I got into oil like early, like
'Cause of him?
October 2020. No, he got in later, but he got in at the right time too. Like when it was consolidating, and he was saying, "Oh, the dynamics are amazing for it," and he's correct. So he bought it, and he didn't just buy it just like that. He bought it
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's just
after the move was going to happen. You know?
That's the crazy thing about markets, and this is what I always tell people. Like I always give the example, like we used to trade. Sometimes we'd be trading the same stocks during the day, And like, oh, we both made money. Yeah. When did you buy it? I bought it at 9:30. I sold it at 10. Oh, I bought it at 10. I sold it at 11. Oh, then I went short at 1. I bought it back at 2. Oh, I went short at 2 and I bought it. And we all made, but all at different points. So like,
But y'all made money.
everyone has different
Those are
systems.
day trading.
The day trading days.
Back in those years, like years
Those are
ago.
fun times.
How was that working for banks instead of working for yourselves? It was weird having someone over your head.
You know what?
No, they gave us
Looking back, it was
autonomy.
great.
They gave us autonomy. Yeah,
Basically,
not a big account, but they gave us autonomy.
You can't lose this amount of money. Besides that, make money however you want. So I mean, nowadays it's hard to get.
Yeah, so you
jobs
can't.
like
That doesn't exist
It
anymore.
doesn't really exist that way.
Oh, really?
Back then, that was kind of like the tail end of the old school.
Yeah.
Like we were market makers. We had stocks we were responsible for, and then the rest it was like just trade and make as much money as you can.
That's so cool.
It was great times. Yeah.
And
I mean,
you,
like, we could do day trading. We could hold like
Whatever you want.
whatever you wanted, as long as you didn't breach your risk parameters.
Yeah.
You're free.
Which is you have to learn risk first.
Yeah.
Forget about the wins. Like this
yeah.
is good to see the wins, but you don't see the losses too. Like you have to.
Oh, yeah, I know,
overall,
there's
you have
plenty
to
of
go
losses.
up.
But see, it's a professional's mindset. The bank said, okay, look, make as much money as you want, but just don't lose X number of dollars. So
or we're fucked.
Or you're out. You're fired. That was the one way to get fired is you lose too much money. You break your risk.
And a lot of people did.
Yeah.
We were one of the few that remained. Like they would hire, they would like interview when I got on in end of 2005. When did you come in, Matty?
January 08.
Okay.
So
So
beautiful year for financial
yeah,
markets.
but yeah, trial by fire.
I was profitable. I had a good year.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was profitable too. Actually buying these bear market rallies.
Me too. I always say
Bear market
I
rallies.
rarely shorted in 08. There's some the bad breaks, but I typically was playing long.
I'm
fuck.
better going long than going short.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay. But anyways, the point we're trying to make is that it's risk first. We have to look at how much you can lose. And a lot of the people they were interviewed 100 people when I went on. I think they hired 3, and I was one of them. And then I was the only one who left, who survived.
I
The
was
other two
I
were
was
gone.
the last to be hired.
That's what it
No
is.
one was ever hired after me
Yeah.
until they eventually closed it. Like 6-7 years later, they closed the branch.
Yeah. So it's not easy. It's a tough.
It feels
Tough
tough,
profession.
especially because it's not your money. You're risking someone else's, and it's tied into your
kill
job.
that, Poseidon. Just click on the thing. Get out of that. You don't have to join for free.
I don't know about you, Harry, but I found
close this.
Join
click
for
somewhere
free
else.
or click behind it.
Yeah.
I am.
Join for free. Click.
Okay. Join for free.
All right, don't join.
Okay. Don't join. Go back.
But I found, I don't know how you felt, because before going to the bank, I was young. I just graduated university, my first job. I just traded my own money. So if I lost money, it was my own problem. And it's you have a bit of like, you don't have to worry about someone watching you. I found even though I was trading the bank's money at first, the fact that I knew I had someone watching me, like, oh, you're just not making money, like, or you have to make money. I found that a bit difficult at first. Then you get used to it, the trade. How did you find when that dynamic?
I understand what you're saying, but I felt great in the beginning because I was
It ain't
coming
my
in-
money, bitch.
I coming in with a plan, and I knew exactly what I was going to do. And yeah,
But you had
but
traded
there's-
before at Hydro. So you had,
I was trading. I was a power trader before. I was trading power.
How do you trade power?
Electricity, not power like that.
Yeah, how do you trade electricity?
It's a closed market. It's like over the counter, but you buy megawatt hours. You buy blocks of megawatt hours, like 50 megawatt hours, 100 megawatt
You're
hours.
saying there's no exchange. You have to like call up and make deals with the different.
Back in the day, this was like the year 1999, 2000 to like 2003.
And
I
you're
was
giving
trading.
them energy.
Huh? No, you trade energy. Like I was in charge of a charge. I was my area of expertise was PJM, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland. I was like a junior under I forgot his name, Mr. Allen. We have power areas in the northeastern United States, and I worked for Hydro-Quebec US technically. Okay, and we were shipping our power into the US, selling it at the best rates. So that's the first time like Hydro-Quebec turned into like a real power company. Before it was
Profitable
a
company.
stodgy, boring utility. After that, they became like an Enron type. But
I was
better.
going to say they were probably inspired by Enron.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
They brought in U.S. leadership to change because at that point they were making $25 Canadian per megawatt hour, long range 25-year contracts, and that's it. The moment that the things changed, they were making $50 to $100 U.S. per megawatt hour, variable with no long-term contract. So they can just at that point they were selling the power, dumping it into the U.S. Before these guys, the operators who were working in the what was it, La Grande? I can't remember the names. It was so long ago. The power stations, the dams up north in James Bay, they were saying, "What's going on? We're working 24/7." Before they weren't working at all. It was very
They had
rare,
excess
you know?
capacity.
Yeah,
and
they
just sat
didn't
there,
work.
yeah.
We didn't work in the summertime because there was nothing, you know. But then they had to because we're dumping all our power in the summertime in the States because of air conditioning. That's their peak time. So they were working overtime.
But Hydro-Quebec was starting making money.
The water was going down in the level in the dam.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, they were making a crap load of money. Yeah.
killing.
It was amazing.
Are they a profitable company?
Yeah, they're making money, billions. Yeah.
God damn.
I think it's it's the jewel in the Quebec crown.
Yeah.
The government uses them they make money, and then the government takes that money for their programs.
Because the government owns it.
And we also had a nuclear plant, Gency 1 and 2, I think. When I was there, they were closing down Gency 2. We had nuclear power in Quebec.
Well, there's still the one in Ontario, eh? What's
in Ontario, they changed. At the time, Ontario was a basket case. They needed Quebec for power. And
Oh,
we used to rape them. There was I can't remember this guy, I forgot his name.
term?
How much you charge? Yeah. How much you charge New York? $25. What about us? $47.
Yeah, it would say, you need this power? Oh, you need this power? Oh, we're going to charge you $1,000 a megawatt for the next 3 hours.
Bro, no
It's
wonder
normally
they
25,
hate
bro.
us.
Yeah, you're the reason why they hate us. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay
No, but
with it.
they changed. They changed. Ontario now went, at the time, they were a basket case. Then they decided, guys, we're a basket case. We can't keep getting, charge this kind of money. We're losing a lot.
We've got to make
So
our own.
they went nuclear. They couldn't do anything else. Right? So they went nuclear. It was a fast build. And now a lot of their grid is nuclear. And they're like self-sufficient. They can't.
Wow, they have nuclear in
they're
Ontario.
amazing.
Why?
Yeah,
Why?
the majority. Yeah.
They can't do hydro? They
No,
couldn't do
hydro could only be done in the specific area that it's there.
Yeah.
If you don't have hydro, if you don't have like a place you can
dam,
dam
shit
or
like that,
a river that can.
Poseidon's like the Sahara Desert, perfect place.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
hydro.
yeah.
I see.
They're gonna-
He's a visionary.
No, because Ontario has it's in
Elon
Canada,
Musk
there's
Yeah,
a lot of
Ontario's thinking
rivers.
of converting Niagara Falls into
What is?
a hydro dam.
Niagara Falls is
Yeah.
hydroelectric.
I know. I saw the place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went to visit it last summer.
Oh yeah.
No,
Nice.
I hated it.
I went to some of my kids. There's all like the small, go karts and stuff nearby. They
Oh, yeah, it
loved
was
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's Vegas for retarded people. I didn't like it.
So not
overhyped.
Good. Not good. Okay.
Overhyped. They have their own police force.
Niagara, yeah.
Niagara.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes
What
sense.
color are their police uniforms?
I don't know. They look the same, but they're clearly Niagara cops.
Okay.
They can't do anything.
So you messed with them?
Yeah, I would park wherever I wanted. People were like, oh, and I was like, it says no park. What are they going to do? And I would park, leave, go do our stuff, come back. There's nothing you could do.
You're giving Quebecers a bad name.
And if you leave me a ticket, I'm not going to pay it. This isn't a real place.
He's an instigator. That's why he's an instigator.
I see why you want personal freedom and autonomy.
Goddamn right.
This is why we can't have personal freedom and autonomy.
I'm rooting for everyone.
in this picture.
Yeah, no, I Niagara Falls, I think, is overrated.
But you have to see it. Somebody has to see it like at least once in their lifetime, right? Like
I didn't have to see it. I saw it and I was like, I didn't need this in my life. I would have died happy not
Greece
seeing
is
this.
better.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just, what is this? Is just fucking,
It's a thing.
it's a thing. It's a waterfall.
Waterfall.
I don't give a shit. Why am I getting wet? It's so stupid.
Do they go over the who's the guy that went over the falls with the
There was a guy.
Who's the guy?
There was a guy. They told me the story there, who got sued because he tried to commit suicide,
Oh.
and
Wait, what?
he didn't die.
Oh.
And they sued him for that?
Yeah, they sued him for that.
Because
You mean,
Huh?
you
He should have died?
You mean find them? Find
No, I
them?
heard they sued him because it ruins the whole. You fucked up a whole day or two of people doing stuff, and then he jumped off again.
this guy has mental problems and you made it even worse.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
god.
yeah. I think he accomplished his goal the second time around. Yeah, there's little things like that. They're telling me there's a lot of people that try to kill themselves here.
Oh.
They go like, it's excessive. Yeah, so if ever you see someone like running and they have a jet ski and they're holding it or whatever, you gotta, it's like, well, yeah, there's a guy with a jet ski. You're not supposed to jet ski there. That's phase one. Why would you look at him for a while? Like they had like all
There's
kinds
a
of
paraglider.
yeah, they had all kinds of
Stop that
signs
guy.
of people that might want to kill themselves, and they were all very obvious signs. Like these are not signs. That's like the guy's deliberately telling you, I'm going in there, I'm gonna kill myself, or I'm gonna try to get a video or whatever.
Yeah, that's sad though.
Yeah, it's sad, but everything was a little run down.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It felt like you ever play Fallout, the game Fallout?
No.
It felt like it was doing good in the 70s, and then we forgot about it, and we just unearthed it. It kind of felt like that.
Okay.
It felt like it was from another time, and they hadn't future proofed it.
It's like Wally World.
You know what I mean? Like
From like old reference.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it just felt like they haven't taken care of it. Like things were a little too run down, a little too 70s.
Okay.
Like it works now, it'll always work. Like that's how it felt. They didn't future proof shit.
No innovation.
No innovation at all. No. What are you gonna innovate? It works. It's a cash cow. People are buying the merchandise.
falls work, yeah.
The falls work. People are buying the merchandise. They're taking the photos. They're buying the shitty food. The hotels. Why would you change? It's working.
So you think it makes money like as an attraction? Like you
Yeah.
There was
I don't know,
people,
like,
bro.
Like does SeaWorld make money? No, these kind of attractions.
Yeah, SEAS. You could bring up the
SeaWorld makes money.
Yeah.
People go.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
something to do.
People go. Yeah.
It's something to do. A lot of these mouth breathers, bro, they don't do anything else. They go see things.
Oh, your daughter in a few years, she's gonna
Maybe, yeah.
You'd have to bring her all.
Why are
these
you
places.
laughing?
SeaWorld.
Gonna
Did you
have
type
one.
C? Did you type the letters?
He can't go on.
TradingView.com.
Can't. It's the same thing as last time.
SeaWorld. SeaWorld stock. SeaWorld space stock.
SEAS stock.
I don't like SeaWorld though because they're enslaving these animals.
Yeah.
I was laughing because a lot of these
Hey,
mouth
57.
breathers. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna go
Another
see
stock is
things.
gonna. Another stock. Beside.
Just picturing a bunch of people going. Whoa.
Well, because they're, you know what I mean. Like if you
I
don't,
know, I know,
if
just-
you don't do, you're gonna see.
It's a funny visual. To
Yeah.
Okay. SeaWorld right now. Let's see a whole year.
Okay.
Well, like everything else, it's down, but
Yeah.
It
5
but
years.
it's doing good now. Look, it's coming up.
Oh, 2020
There it
dipped,
is.
obviously. Of course.
I wonder why.
The animals were
What's
sick or something.
2020. There's a huge dip. What's going on there, guys?
Imagine in 5 years, Poseidon's like, dude, I started looking at the stock market. Bro, did you know 2020, bro? I don't know what the fuck happened. I think it's a conspiracy. But all these stocks went down, bro. I think a bunch of traders got together and fucked shit up.
Dude, in 2020, there's a stock of a company that from $40 USD dropped down to like $3 USD.
Okay.
And I knew this company well, and I should have bought.
That's the story of anyone.
Everyone-
Everyone
yeah.
of
Dude, I
2020.
Dude,
I'm
when
sure you
I
can say
tell
the name. You can say the
You
name.
can say the name. It's not-
It's like a-
Avis Budget
Oh,
Rent a
yeah.
Corporation.
Yeah.
They skyrocketed
Yeah.
to $350.
Well, look at Carvana, CVNA.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
I mean, they're
It's
big
now
trouble
nothing.
right?
Yeah, from like
'Cause they
that is
they
a look, that is a bubble. That's worse than that was worse than GameStop.
Is it like the cruise ship bubble?
No.
Carvana is the
Oh, it's
used
$8.
car.
I was down to I think 5 or 3.
It came back. You see, from 5 to 3, you made a what?
From
60% return.
3, yeah, it's almost a 200% return.
oh shit.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so
700?
they want to automate the used car market. Basically, you could just sell your car through an app, and they pick it up. And after it's like these giant car vending machines in the States, where you can just go and like say, I'll buy the car, and you have a week to try it out.
Oh, fuck. That's so cool.
Yeah, and it was doing amazing. The problem is they replenished all of their used car inventory like at the peak, and now used car prices crashed. And so they're doing so well, so they kept trying to buy
Used car
cars.
prices crash. I thought used car prices are still high.
No, they crashed.
Year over year, they're down like 15% right now.
Poseidon, is that true? Maybe not here.
Well, in
Maybe not
general,
here, dude,
it all-
because there's still.
Yeah, they're down here too.
yeah.
Because Poseidon was losing his mind looking at used
Dude,
cars.
the Honda Accord that's 5
down.
years old.
Wasn't
still
Poseidon
goes
in that
for
business?
Huh?
Wasn't Poseidon in that business? Stealing cars.
stealing
He doesn't
cars, yeah.
know?
rental cars.
Stealing cars.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. Rental.
I was stealing cars also.
If you type in used car prices, YOY, year over year.
If it loads, oh, there you go.
If you look at news, if you go to news at the top to see some recent,
Bro, the internet here.
14%.
Yeah.
Down 40, 15%.
Yeah.
Poseidon, can you go type in, just because I know my car last year, they were trying to buy it for like $20,000, remember?
Yeah.
And I didn't sell it. Go look.
Check out Auto Trader. I love.
yeah.
This. I love
Yeah.
this app.
My Ford Fusion
I think it's down.
Yeah, for sure.
2018.
sure.
Hold on.
But I didn't sell it, even though
How much did they want to buy it for?
20,000. I didn't.
Was it 2018?
In
2018.
Quebec, they're not down. Here's the thing, bro.
Okay, just check while we talk, because
a lot of
the reason-
while it's loading.
yeah, but I'm already talking.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
Because the reason was I had a situation where I didn't owe any money. Like I owed less on the car, so I could have made. But I'm like, well, why? I basically own this car. It's fine. Even if I make a bit of extra cash selling it, I have to go buy a new fucking car,
Yeah, but
which they were
that's
too
why-
hard to find.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't benefit me. The price was good, but I was like, I'm gonna end up in a.
You see
in
the
a cycle.
dilemma?
I was
Yeah.
fortunate. You know what happened to me?
You had to sell.
I
trade in your car?
bought a new car last March. I went to go last March to buy a car, so I put a deposit. I'm taking delivery next week actually, so it took a whole year to get it. But as part of the negotiation, I'm like, okay, you're gonna trade in my car, but I want you to lock in this year's price. So I
Yeah,
thought it was
beautiful.
peak price. It's like, okay, at that time they were dying for used cars. I'm like, fine. I said, but you just next year you have to guarantee this price. I said, okay.
Oh,
Now
what
I'm bringing
idiots.
it in. It's like
Amazing.
I tell Cynthia, I'm like, at least we top tick the used car market.
Yeah, you just fucked it.
They have dropped a bit.
How much is mine now?
How
16,
much mileage you have?
60.
But see, this is what they're offering, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
yeah.
get less than that. So
Hold on, let's look at another 20.
Go to a private seller.
Dude, but they're going cheap 2020s. I'm gonna buy one. Fuck.
Yeah, just buy one.
God damn, yeah.
If they're cheap now, this is the time. So our car's
I don't
making a
know why
comeback.
Ford Fusion.
but they don't make Fusions anymore. Didn't Ford stop all cars except the
That's what
Mustang?
they said. I don't know.
Hold on, I want to see. Fucking.
Oh, you think it's because it's rare? It's going to be even higher the price?
No.
I don't. I don't know if Ford Fusions are going to be collectible.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
Ford
no,
Fusion.
not
I don't
in
think
10
a
years,
Ford
5 years,
Fusion
no.
is the collectible car people are looking
The
for.
2018 Ford Fusion is
they're
what
very good
collectors are.
They're good cars, but I don't think that's the collector vehicle. That
Oh, it's not in black.
I had
forget it.
a,
It's not in black.
oh,
Forget
no,
I had a
about it.
Ferrari 458.
How much do they
turned
wanna
it in
buy
for
it?
a Fusion.
It hasn't budged. Still 20. Look at this.
Imagine got more money.
SE Sport
yeah,
Edition.
yeah, I have the SC.
You had a bit of a higher model. This is the titanium is going for 25.5. SE is going this one. This guy's price gouging. This guy's Arab.
Okay. Oh, so I can still get around 20.
Yeah, you can still get it around 20. Yeah, in Quebec they haven't dropped. The
Why,
dealers
though?
don't give a fuck here.
How stupid.
A lot of it, I don't know. I honestly don't fucking know.
But there's a dilemma. Like if it's like with housing, the house price. Let's say your house went to like $1 million.
What happened? Phil
You see, I'm not
lived
gonna
the
sell-
dilemma. He talked about it
Yeah.
on the podcast
Oh, it did. Okay.
because he sold when it was high,
Yeah.
but then he had no place to buy
You
because
had to
everything
buy another
fucking
high price.
Yeah, so
you're not
he-
benefiting. You know?
yeah. So he ended up.
Actually, you're just paying the selling commission
yeah, it's
and all of
terrible.
this. And
Yeah, it fucked him. He learned that lessons too. He learned that.
Let's say a 5-year Honda Accord was baffling to me.
5-year-old,
5-year-old Honda Accord.
30,000.
No.
can't
Let's 5 years is what 2017.
That's 2019.
No, 2018. Let's say 2018.
And this is just Quebec that's still
Yeah.
gouging.
Quebec is very weird.
Are you
Yeah.
able to just go out of province, buy a car, and come back in?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
You have to, I think.
Actually, I
replate it
think
here,
price.
Look
no,
at
this
Maddie.
one has
Look at BMWs here compared to
200,000
Alberta.
kilometers.
Yeah, but you have to replate when you come here, though. You have to pay like the. You have to
But
register it. And
just
stuff.
look at the different prices.
200
Yeah, for sure.
Massive difference in
Yeah,
price.
but you have to go out. You have to
I
drive.
think
to
actually the
Alberta.
prices are dropping a little bit because the
Once
Honda.
you factor in the plane, the hotel stays, the gas.
I like to go. I never been to
Yeah,
Alberta. I like to go to Alberta. I never been there.
I've been there.
I was.
I have a
looking
lot of
at,
family there.
Oh, family in Alberta.
A lot,
Oh, really?
There are a lot of Greeks in Alberta.
apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't think that was
I had no idea.
that was the case.
Yeah.
But you know what? I remember. In
Oh, Calgary.
Edmonton, but I have
Edmonton.
family in Calgary too. But most of them are
I can
in
see.
Edmonton.
Yeah,
and
I know
and
Greek
near-
in Calgary.
You know, it was a good in 2008. Remember when the Canadian dollar was at par?
2008. Yes.
It was, or even a bit above.
Yeah.
I remember I was gonna do it, but it didn't last long enough, and I was a kid. I didn't have the money to do it. But they had like you could have bought like Porsches in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah, cars are cheap in the
At the
States.
U.S. price, it was like minimal modification to bring you
Yeah.
here, but they were still like at a 20% discount,
Yeah.
and there's no sales tax in New Hampshire, so it was like win-win. And I remember I was like studying it and looking into it. After like 3-4 months, like the Canadian dollar like crashed, and I was like, okay, the opportunity.
It tends to do that.
So I'm gonna give you guys an example. on
If
the
ever the
cars.
Canadian dollar goes
No,
back
we
to
get it.
par,
Besides, we
go to
moved
New
past this
Hampshire for a
already.
Porsche.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so that's what's happened now. I didn't. At least the structuring. Do you think it has anything to do with the supplies, like actually getting cars back in? Because
Yeah,
now
that's
new
what-
cars are
That's
available
exactly what
again.
it is. Just let the market work.
Yeah.
We're stopping it from working. We should never have these problems.
Fucking guys. All right. Well, look, I kept you long enough. I really appreciate this. I think people learned a lot. I learned a lot. So hopefully they did too, unless they weren't fucking listening. Big thing here is don't be scared is what we're telling people, but be safe with your money. Tech looks bad, doesn't look bad. One of you is saying go to it. The other one's saying watch out. So I don't know where we're going to end up with that. That's going to be at the people's discretion to do what they want. Personally, I just ask you or I'll fucking send him a message. That's my goal.
No, but like it doesn't really matter if you follow your risk management rules. If you're wrong, get out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you're right, let it ride. That's how it works. I mean, you can literally flip a coin, 50-50. I'm going to buy or sell. If you follow risk management rules, you should come out on top in the end.
Overall.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Yeah, because the truth is overall, even when I lost, because his big stuff I followed, and overall I made money. So even though I lost sometimes, overall I made money. So what I would do if I was people watching or listening right now, go to the description, go to the links. Both these guys, I have all their stuff in the description. You can follow them. Go to Twitter. I thought you were waving at me. Go to Twitter because they both tweet. And fucking Matt, you won awards because of your goddamn stock portfolio last year. So no, check them out for real because I check out the stuff that I see what goes up, what goes down, and then I go look. I fucking go on my app and see if I should buy something or sell something or whatever the fuck. So it's very important to follow people that know what they're doing. I would have never made any money in stocks if I didn't ask you guys. I would have lost everything because if you look at the shit that I wanted to buy before talking to you guys, it's true. Didn't make any sense. So follow the professionals. Harry and Matt, thank you guys so much for fucking being here. And hopefully I'll see you guys again in shorter time span than what we waited for this time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Pantelis.
We've built this prison cell 'cause we can't trust ourselves.